Okay, looks like this might be live now. Double check on the YouTube first, make sure everything's actually coming through. Hopefully not looking bad, because I've had some weird things happen with the StreamYard, where like the quality is just terrible. But let's see. Yeah, all right, cool. So, what's going on, people? Same thing as usual. Well, I won't say usual because I don't always do this, but gonna sit here talk about the pay per view. It's Extreme Rules tonight, which is generally not very extreme. So we'll see how that goes. But so far, it just started like a couple minutes ago. AJ Styles and Omos, whatever, going against the New Day. Looks like. So not sure what the deal is with this because I haven't really been keeping up with wrestling a whole lot because it's a tough thing to do, man. Like watching Raw, it's not usually that good, and there's so much of it. It's like 3 hours of something you don't want to watch. Okay, so they're bringing out Bobby Lashley now, so I guess it's like a 3-on-3 trio sort of match. But it was pretty cool seeing Big E come out as the champion and all that stuff. Got New Day on the side. Well, I guess he is New Day as well. But got Kofi and Xavier on the side. Looks like a pretty solid group. Now that they're all back together. So we'll see how long that title reign lasts, though, because that's kind of the question on a lot of people's minds. Like how long that's gonna go for. Let's see, create a poll. Oh, that's what that is. But I, and then the whole Bobby Lashley thing is him as far as him being champ for the last however long that was. I'm still not 100% sure how I feel about it. Like, dude was fine, right? But I just maybe it's because I just wasn't paying enough attention, but I just couldn't really get as into it as I would have probably wanted to or whatever. But it doesn't matter now because he's not champ anymore. Well, unless something crazy happens, I guess. I don't know what the next title matches are that Big E's gonna be in, but I just kind of feel like he's gonna hold on to it for at least a while. I would hope anyway, at least like a few months or something, at least finish up the year. Then again, it is like the end of September, so that's only 2 months, 3 months, whatever. So now they're just kind of replaying all that stuff, the big celebrations and all that. And it's always kind of funny to me how, hey, what's going on, Franco, Francel, Loj? I'm not sure how to pronounce that, so I'm sure I did it all kinds of wrong. But hello, all the same. But yeah, so hopefully he at least gets a good run through like the rest of the year or something like that. Even though it's not a whole lot of time, he could go to like the Rumble or something. Maybe something happens, set up him being in WrestleMania, the first one. Okay, Franco. I think Franco. I don't even remember what I said first. But hello to you. You missed the Shield? No, not at all. Actually, I was not a fan personally. And this is funny because I started getting back into watching wrestling in 2013, 2014, somewhere in there. And that was kind of like one of the big deals at the time, the Shield. But I just couldn't get into them. The one thing that made them kind of palatable or whatever for me was just Seth Rollins because I saw him walk out and they're like, "Oh, from Davenport, Iowa," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm from there." So this is the guy that I'm going to root for. Turns out that the dude is like really good. So even though that was a weird way to choose who your new guy was going to be, it worked out. Let's see. So starting off with AJ Styles and Xavier Woods. I'll tell you, like, I don't know what it is, but Xavier Woods seems to be, he doesn't seem to get a lot of the attention like the other New Day guys get. You think Dean Ambrose carried? Like, I I don't know. I mean, I would say it was Seth Rollins, personally, right? Because At least at first, anyway. I mean, sure, like Roman Reigns was like the guy that they just forced on you for, all their own reasons. And then it seemed to me that Dean Ambrose was just the other guy there. But I'll be completely honest, like I was never a Dean Ambrose fan. When he went over to like, AEW and he was the same dude, but just like slightly different. Something about him was intriguing, but the only time I think I ever, well, actually, I don't know if I ever really cheered for Dean Ambrose. He's just kind of, yeah, he's always just there, just being around. And then he was on that episode of the Stone Cold podcast, and that was a little weird in some ways because it was like he didn't want to really talk a whole lot, and I get it. Not everybody wants to like talk about their personal life. But if that's the case, like I don't see why he even was on the show. I'm sure he had enough pull to say, I don't want to do this. Man, Big E I know it's in his name, but that is a big dude. Like when you see him against like other people, like AJ Styles here, man, this guy is like wide. Wide is all outside, as they say. I don't know if people still say that, but it's a saying that I remember from some point in my life. But now it's Big E and Bobby Lashley doing their big face-off and whatever. Which, in a way, I'm surprised that they're going into it that quick, because lots of times when they have like two people that have this animosity, they kind of like to, tease it, and then it happens at the end. But I guess that's often when there's like a heel type of thing and one's kind of cowering away. In this situation, they're just both kind of wanting to fight each other, I guess. So maybe that's why it's not happening that way. But I don't know. It's one of those things. I want to be more interested in this overall, like wrestling overall, but I don't know, man. Like they just do so many things that are weird that it makes it hard to really get into it. I mean, the New Day is still doing their thing that you would expect of them. Got the whole Unicorn Stampede going on right now. And so I feel like if I was at least still watching, I would still like them or whatever. But it's just the stories are kind of like the big part of it, right? Because you can't just have people making jokes all the time. You got to have some kind of compelling reason to want to watch. And they're just not quite doing that for whatever reason. Wow, that was impressive. Like Kofi jumped over the top ropes and then like Bobby caught him. Because I mean, that's a full grown man, like a large dude or whatever, So I feel like that stopped a little early. So I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to have to do to really turn things around. But given that they have WrestleMania only 5 months away or something, you would think that by now there'd be some like big build up and all this good stuff, but or at least have some kind of idea of what would happen. I mean, you got the SmackDown Roman Reigns title or whatever they call that, and I think everybody has an idea of which direction that's going in, but everything else is kind of just floating in the breeze, flying in the breeze. I don't know, blowing in the breeze. I think maybe that's the right phrase, but this next couple months, so like going into like Survivor Series and all that, I know that's usually good for setting up something too, but I haven't seen much of any like group feuds because that's usually like a big thing. You build, well, in the past, I guess was more of a bigger thing when they would have like the 4-on-4, maybe it was 5-on-5, like the Survivor Series teams. For a long time, Survivor Series was like my favorite thing, when it came to like wrestling, because something about like the big 5-on-5 matches and like the elimination and you just don't know what's going to happen. That was just really intriguing to me, But then over the years, for whatever reason, they kind of got away from doing that type of thing and got more into just doing just normal matches, which can be fine, but if you have like a show that has kind of like a theme built around it, you should cash in on that theme, which is the same thing about why this is kind of a problem. Like, you call it Extreme Rules, and you would think they'd kick off the match or kick off the night with some kind of Extreme Rules just to kind of get the crowd going. And no, instead it's just like a straight up 3-on-3 normal match, something you would see on Raw or SmackDown or whatever other. Are those the only two shows they have now? Main Event, if that's still a thing. They used to have a lot of shows. They used to have like Sunday Night Heat and all this stuff. But I think maybe it is just Raw and SmackDown now. I honestly don't know. But when I was in England, I did used to see. Was it England? Yeah, when I was in England, or maybe it was Korea. Somewhere that I lived in the past, I used to see other shows, but I think those might have just been like where they took random taped matches and just kind of threw them together, because you couldn't really tell like when they were, or when they were, aired or recorded or whatever. Though there was one where it was like, when was it? It was 2019 when I was watching this, and they showed some random episode of like, it was like CM Punk versus Mysterio or something, like leading up to a Money in the Bank match. I'm like, what year is this from? This is crazy old. Because at that point, like, CM Punk hadn't been around for like 4 years or something, 5 years. I don't know, a long time. And Mysterio hadn't been around in probably as long. So it was just kind of weird that the way that whole thing worked out. But anyway, so back to what's going on here. Not a lot, honestly. I mean, I'm watching it, sometimes when you actually listen to the commentary, that kind of adds an extra layer of it to like kind of get you into it or whatever. But in this particular case, not so much. Just got messed there. But yeah, it's because there are some matches that I'll watch, right? And the match itself will be that good that, I don't need like the sound or like people with the play-by-play, I can just watch and be like, man, this is really good. And then I'll watch it later and it's even better. Like with what was that AEW pay-per-view a couple weeks ago, All Out, right? That was really good. And I was sitting here doing this whole thing, watching it. So I missed certain things about it, but I could still tell that it was definitely something worth giving my full attention to at a later time. And I think I watched it all, end to end, like a day or two after that, and was very impressed with that one. I think, and then what was the other show I watched? It was was it the Impact show or Ring of Honor? I forget which the other one was, because both of them have had shows lately. But because I think it was like the Ring of Honor one that I bought and then got a headache and kind of like had to tap out early, as they say. But that's one thing that I do want to get back into more so is like the Ring of Honor and the Impact, because those side brands or whatever, they do some pretty good things. They've got some solid names over there, very talented people, even the ones you don't know or whatever. Ooh, that did not look good. But yes, they've got some good names and stuff over there. And when I watch the matches, it's like I'm starting to get to the point where I recognize some people. They're like, "Oh, Matt Taven." I'm like, I know that guy. Ace Austin. It's like, okay, I remember this one too. And then they sprinkle some other guys in there that I'm not quite so sure of, like Black Taurus. Some kind of, he's I don't know, he catches your attention from a visual standpoint. Then he's pretty awesome when you actually watch him. So there's a lot of good names over there. It's just that I forget that the show exists until Fight TV is emailing me, telling me, hey, you should buy this pay-per-view. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, I should. And then I do. Then I watch it, and it's pretty all right. And I tell myself, I should watch more of this. Same cycle every month or every 2 or 3 months, however often those guys are doing shows. But past that, still with this, it seems to be very much the back and forth right now. Like the heel team has the upper hand because it's only Kofi in the ring, and Big E and Xavier off on the sidelines, probably down and out, hurt and whatnot. And so now there's Xavier coming in, gonna get all fired up, turn the tides, as they say, right? Yeah, that missed by a country mile. But hey, it's wrestling. Sometimes you just gotta suspend that disbelief a little bit further and just pretend that what you saw you didn't see. So that's really the only way to get through a lot of this. Sometimes you gotta just pretend like you just didn't see this whole show. That's the way to get through some of it. But man, like, wonder, wonder when there's gonna be some New Day figures. I mean, they got the ones that they came out with like a while ago, like was that like the purple and pink, or teal and pink or something. But I kind of like this color. But I mean, I guess they're so slow with their action figure development. Because I've gone to like the San Diego Comic-Con where like they'll debut like the prototypes for all like the upcoming figures and stuff. And there were things that I would see, because I'll go through my pictures every so often and look back at that stuff. And it'll be like a year and a half later, and it's like that figure is still nowhere to be seen. And there was something, I can't remember what it was, but it, let's see, it would have been the 2019 Comic Con, and it just came out like this summer or something. It's like, what are you guys doing? I mean, I just feel like they've got the money, the resources, whatever, to kind of get the ball rolling a little faster on their figures. I know they're doing a lot of them, right? I'll give them that. They come out with basics every month and an elite wave every month. So that's what, probably 12 altogether. And then the ultimates is what, like every 2 months or three, along with some of those random collector's editions. So, I mean, it's probably like a good, what, 15-ish a month, probably no more than 20. But I still just don't get how it just takes so long. That's just the crazy thing to me. Especially when you look at, and I know that AEW will kind of fast track some of theirs sometimes, but still, like, they just started making figures like was it the end of last year, I think? Like August, right? And they've got those things coming out left and right. Like my whole table thing is full, and I don't even have all the. Where are my other figures? Oh, they're in my room. Yeah, like my whole table thing over there is full, and that's only waves like 1 through 4, probably. All right, looks like the good guys have a firm upper hand over here at this point. Doing the whole clap to get everybody worked up. And I was too late to get my little predictions in on, what's that thing called? PWS, Pro Wrestling Score Sheet. Usually I go on there, it's kind of like a betting sort of situation where like they ask you various questions, like who's gonna win, like how long's the match gonna be, blah blah blah. Like how many pin attempts is there gonna be. Sometimes I'm fairly close. Usually just by pure luck. Other times I'm like way off, and those are usually the times when I actually try. So it's entertaining though. It at least gives you something to do. Kind of helps with finding a reason to watch the shows. But I saw the email earlier, and I was like, oh yeah, let me go ahead and do that. Then I spent the bulk of today editing videos. So what was it? I think there's the pro wrestling crate, then 2 shoe things, neither of which were for me. So I did that for a large chunk of the day. And I still have some more final touches to do on my sunflower video, which will probably go up in the morning. What? Oh. Now this right here, I could see Big E versus AJ Styles if they went into like a solo one-on-one thing. This I think I might want to see more of. I haven't seen a whole lot of AJ Styles lately though. I don't know why that is, or at least not in a solo setting, because he's been doing the almost thing for a lot longer than I expected him to. I thought that'd be like WrestleMania for the next, and then maybe for the next month or two before they broke up and just kind of went their own ways. But no, at this point, it's been like 6 months. and they're still going fairly strong. So, I mean, unless there's some little subtle hints of a breakup that I'm not seeing or whatever because I don't watch. And is Kobe about to? Oh, okay. Man, for a second there, I thought Lashley had him. You know, they really get you sometimes. I was like, I was gonna feel bad for old Kofi, you know? It's weird how like he was on top of the world like not all that long ago, and then just kind of got pushed to the side. And it's like they'll put people in these matches and they'll say, "Oh man, he's going against the former WWE champion." And it's like that only means something as long as you act like it means something. You can't just have him win the title and then just be, I don't know, like the opening show or every match for the next year and still act like he's like a formidable opponent, you know? Because he's not in a way at that point, you know? He's got it in him, sure, but he'd have to like build back up to it, you know? What? Huh. That was unexpected. Well, I guess it's not, but this match has gone on, in my eyes, longer than it probably should have. Oh, there it is. That's where it all turns. When AJ Styles gets that unsolicited tag in, and now something's going to happen. Well, or maybe not. We'll see. We'll see. Because it looks like the ending, if this is indeed the ending, could be a pretty decent finish to this match. Yeah, that was pretty good. I mean, the bulk of the match was like unnecessary because it was just so long. But I did like that little exchange at the end with like AJ kind of tagging himself in, and then Lashley tags himself in, had the little accidental spear, and then here we are. New Day comes out on top. So I guess from there, I don't know if Lashley is still gonna be mad about this Big E thing and keep going down that road, or if he's gonna turn his attention over to AJ Styles. But I will say now that Lashley doesn't have the belt on him, that's often when people will start, catching up on some of those losses that they didn't take over the last several months. So we'll see what happens. Man, that poor AJ. It looked like he got a whole lot of that spear, or maybe he just made it look like it. Because when you watch some of these, sometimes you see like the replay of something, you're like, okay, maybe this wasn't as devastating as it appeared to be at first. Let me see, what was this? E-Money was sending me a message earlier, which I saw pop up, and then I forgot to actually click on it. Okay, so it's saying that, and I will say word, because that's my thing that I say. But yeah, so all in all, I mean, that first match, usually you can count on the New Day to get a good thing going, be exciting, and it seems like the people are into it. And it's probably like to their advantage that they're first, because if this pay-per-view is as long as like SummerSlam or whatever, the people coming out at the end of these matches or at the end of these nights or whatever, they are not going to be they're not going to be thrilled about it, because like the crowd's going to be dead. Like they're just going to want to go home, and it's going to take a whole heck of a lot. I forget there's commercials in the middle of these things now. It's just like random commercials too. So what is Xfinity? I'm like, I mean, I know what it is, but I'm just saying, like, why, I also noticed that on like the Stone Cold podcast, like the couple episodes I've watched, because ever since they moved away from the WWE network, I have had zero drive to watch any of their stuff, because it's so hard to find anything, because for one, they don't even have everything up there. Like I had it in my mind to watch some Mike Awesome stuff the other day, after listening to the Chick Foley podcast, they were kind of reminding me about how good he was. And I was like, I'm not even gonna bother looking for it because this Peacock thing is terrible. And then it itself as a service, it's not. It's a little glitchy, little buggy, a little unfinished. This is how it comes off. I don't know if you guys were watching this like earlier in the night or whatever, but like during like the Carmella versus Liv Morgan match, you could hear the commentary from the Spanish guys and Michael Cole or whoever at the same time. And it's like it was the weirdest thing. And it went on for like a long time for that kind of problem. So I don't know what the deal was with that. But either way, now we're moving on. Now we got the Street Profits out here. So and they're going against the Usos, I believe. I believe that's what the situation is. And I guess there's supposed to be some kind of thing to make you think that they could win, but I don't know what that is because I just don't see how that would happen. Given all the stuff going on, it just seems like they're putting too much momentum over here for it to be derailed. Not saying I wouldn't like to see these guys come out on top, like from the deserving side of it, sure, yeah, definitely. But we'll see what happens. I just feel like there's not going to be any surprise outcome in this match. Probably like none of them, honestly. And really, I think the only one I'm really looking forward to watching for the most part is the Demon match because I do like Finn Balor, and I think if Becky Lynch and not Alexa, what's her name, and Bianca Belair have an actual match, that should be pretty good. Now, this one should be pretty good as well, like the Usos versus the Street Profits, because they're both solid tag teams. I don't know that I've ever actually seen them go against each other, but I've enjoyed like other matches that they've been in against other people. So they seem to be pretty consistent in that way, especially the Usos. Like, even though I've never considered myself a fan of them, I've never had a single complaint about any of their matches that I've seen. I mean, I do have a personal complaint about how dude got like a DUI and like that was kind of left unaddressed. I mean, I get, there might be more layers to it than I know, and I'm willing to accept that. But just on the surface, though, on the surface, it's not a thing that I'm cool with. So, man, they do a lot of. If they got rid of all the excess replays, especially when like people are already in the ring, it's like, what is this? Like this pay per view could probably be like an hour long. And I think I'm going to what is it? I'm going to something next month. No, November. Going to SmackDown in November, and also Dynamite / Rampage in November. So I'm looking forward to that. And now this thing's buffering again because Peacock is just god awful. It's not like NBC is some small company, so I don't see why they can't have a better service. It just seems weird to me. But nothing you can do about that, I suppose, if they don't want to do anything about it. Oh, now so Montez Ford has the taped up ribs. He's going with like the DDP look. If you remember anything about the last 2-3 years, well, I wasn't watching wrestling that long. 2 years of WCW, DDP had his ribs taped up through all of that. He probably still has them taped up to this day. Who knows? Man, this buffering thing is ridiculous here. I mean, I don't even know if I'm watching this pay-per-view live anymore as many times as it's happened. Because, each time it stops for like 3 or 5 seconds, But if it does that like every 2 minutes, like eventually you're like way off. So I might have to, it might be the Fire Stick thing. You might have to switch over to like the Chromecast or something. That's usually a little friendlier, Switch that to the live. But let's see how this goes. And again, let me see. I might have to change that up. have to figure that out in a second though, because I don't want to switch in the middle of the match or whatever, because then I might miss something. But probably once this one's over, probably gonna have to switch over to like the Chromecast and just stream it that way. That has a little less extra crap going on, so sometimes gives you better results. Because I honestly blame this Fire Stick a lot for it, because it's not the fastest thing. You know, it's one of the older ones. It's not like the 4K model or anything like that. So it's probably just old and needs to be replaced, which I do have a new one, right? I bought it so I could do a giveaway, but then the person that won the giveaway, they chose the other thing because they gave them a choice. So now I just have this other this other Fire Stick, which I should probably, I think I know what I'll do with that. Got to do a giveaway soon on the channel, so I think that might be what I give away, because it's been sitting in that same spot on the floor since like when did I go to Iowa? February? Yeah, it's been sitting on the floor since February, and it's kind of just time to do something about it. But anyway, so the Usos and the Street Profits. Seems like they're kind of still in that, getting warmed up phase. You don't want to come out there going a mile a minute. I get it. So just kind of waiting to see what goes on from here. But given all the damage to Montez Ford with these ribs and stuff, it really looks like this is like the writing is on the wall for how this is going to go. Even past the whole Uso momentum thing, So, I mean, unless Montez or Angelo Dawkins comes in here and just does something amazing, I don't know, man. We'll see. But I don't have the highest of hopes on that. But now getting up, that was one of those suplex. Well, it wasn't suplex, it was throw them on the rope sort of things. Which, I mean, I guess if your ribs are hurt, like I can see how that would hurt. But in a normal situation, I feel like a lot of these guys, they're in good enough shape that getting their abdomen hit across this rope wouldn't hurt that much. I mean, they spend like half the match like bouncing off the things, you know what I'm saying? So it just seems like it shouldn't really hurt. But going back to that whole suspending your disbelief thing, oh man, now they ripped the tape off the ribs. This is where it all comes crashing down, I guess. Poor guy. I'm curious what's up with like the Raptors colors all the time. Like that seems to be the colors I see them in the most. But it could just be that I miss a lot of their other matches. I honestly don't know. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like the Raptors. I just wonder what the association is. I don't know if either of these guys is Canadian. Maybe. I mean, it's completely possible, Never looked into that. I just noticed Dawkins is wearing some LeBrons that I almost bought my dad a couple of years ago, but you wait for those sales and sometimes you wait too long, and that's exactly what happened with those. Because I was pretty sure he'd like them, and I've heard good things, especially from JJ all day about that model. I think that's the 17. But I don't know. I saw them and I was like, oh, okay, cool. They're readily available. They're everywhere for a decent price. I'll get them later. And then I just kept saying that, and then they were all gone. I mean, I could probably still find them on the other sites, but at this point, they're probably going for like retail price, which isn't terrible. But in my mind, it's like if you know that you could have paid 120 or something for whatever, you're not really trying to pay. What is this, like 200 or something? I don't know how much those shoes are, but a lot of shoes are expensive, so I just assume they're probably like 200. And there's that. Man, coming up on a hot tag, I would assume. I mean, dude's all down and out over here, you know, looking like he's been through a lot. Looks like he's been through the war, through the ringer, whatever. Now he's slowly crawling. And of course, like, you know, you slowly crawl. Then you get that burst of adrenaline at the very end, and you're able to stand up and slap the other person's hand. And now we've got old Dawkins in here, and let's see what happens now. Because he's coming in, he's doing that whole go a mile a minute thing, taking care of both of the Usos, you know, one at a time, of course. Doing his little spinning stinger splash or whatever he calls it. And some kind of weird bulldog. So, and now I guess his momentum ran out. Because it looks like one of the Usos is about to make some dive. Nope, he got stopped, kind of, sort of. Man, I tell you though, like, I'll talk down a little bit on certain things because, you know, it just looks so bad. But when I see those suplexes like outside the ring, like on the hard floor or whatever, those right there, oh my God, dude, like, it just looks so bad. I mean, the other stuff I've seen look bad is like, doesn't look like it, like they were communicating properly and it just came off as a mess. Those look like you are just taking all the pain, like every ounce of it, which is not ideal, you know? Not ideal. And now again with this whole buffering thing. Let me see. I have to fire this up on the phone just to get it ready so I can get switched over or something. I believe they let you watch on like 2 or 3 devices at a time. So yeah, and this thing came right up. So I'll have to just hit the. Why did it come right up? Yeah, I'll have to get that streamed over in a second here or something. Because this thing, with that, actually, maybe I'll just do that now since this seems to have gone from like bad to worse or whatever. But so far, it looks like things are still moving along just fine for whatever, at least for them having the upper hand. But while this gets all switched over, I'm going to be missing just a little bit of here, just a couple of seconds, supposedly. And now here we are. They got things set up for like a doomsday device, crotch chop, and some kind of, what's that thing called? Like the blockbuster or something? But they did like the flipping stunner. Kind of like that. Hey, Chip, what's going on, man? How's everything going in your neck of the woods? Out there in the... Why can I never remember? I know it's somewhere out west. Oklahoma or Nebraska sounds right. One of those. One of those two. Am I right? Is it Oklahoma or Nebraska? Is it one of those states where you live? But yeah, I'm sitting here watching this wrestling thing, you know. It's not amazing so far, but it's fine. Just been working. Yeah, I know the feeling. Like today, I mean, today was my the weekend. I don't work on the weekends, but I was doing a bunch of like YouTube stuff today, and that kind of makes it feel like work because I recorded 3 videos. Yeah, I recorded 3 videos, edited 3 videos, published 3 videos. So that took up a chunk of the day. Luckily, there was no on feeds or anything because they weren't for me. Oklahoma's okay. That's what I was leaning towards, but sometimes like Oklahoma and Nebraska, it's like since I don't really deal with either one, they're almost like interchangeable because like I believe they're right there around the same place, right? Because Oklahoma is above Texas somewhat, and then I think Nebraska is above Oklahoma, or maybe it's 2 states above that. Oh, yeah, there's Michael Cole getting all worked up like something amazing is about to happen. He knows it's not. He knows in his heart he's lying to the people. And it's one of those things where I get like the quick 2 counts, like one than the other, you know, but it's close. It's like that 2 3/4, something like that, you know. Man, that is I will say it's still impressive when he can like get these dudes up on his shoulders, like sitting position or whatever, like by just ducking under them. Seems like it'd take a lot of effort to get one of these dudes up. They're all big people. But yeah, so but other than work, how's other things? What? Oh, I thought that was the sometimes like the 3 count looks. I mean, like there's some impact on the with their arm or whatever. It looks like there was a three, but it wasn't. Wrestling is strange at times. Kansas. Oh man. Yeah. Okay. I forget about Kansas. So yeah, Kansas is they're slightly left. Well, left of Missouri, right? Yeah. That's. I don't know that I've ever actually been to Kansas. I have been to Oklahoma, but that was like 2012, and I've been to Nebraska, but that was like probably like 1990 or something. I was like a wee lad at the time, super young. And we went to some like what do you call it? Family reunion in Nebraska, and that's like I don't remember much about it other than like some girl bit me, and it was just weird. I was like, what? Because like I can't imagine that I would have done anything to deserve that. I mean, it's possible, but it's just like a weird. It was a weird go-to, because I don't think I'd ever been bitten by a person before, and probably not since. So it's odd. But yeah, so that's my memory of Nebraska. Oh man, and this guy gets some serious height on his frog splashes. They're not as devastating in a way because he's like a smaller guy, like a thinner dude or whatever. But when I used to see like Rob Van Dam doing those things, because you could tell he was like a thick person, like very muscular or whatever, hefty. This guy looks more on the lanky side, like if you saw him, you might think he was like a runner, maybe like a long jump guy or what's that, the pole vault or something. So the mass that he brings is just kind of like not a whole lot. But I guess if you have enough height, that'll kind of make up for it. Man, it's, and it's still weird to me. Like, I think I had it for like a week where I could tell which Uso was which. But now, no. Because I think one of them had like a different type of beard or something. And the other one was looking sad for a long time. So I was like, okay, that one's this one, that one's this one. But now I have no idea which one is which. Well, and there's that. There's that Uso splash. Bring back Hogan. Is he gone? Is he not on? Like, where is Hogan? Is he just not on TV, or is he not employed with them anymore? I don't really follow his things. I know he was at WrestleMania in April, but I figure they just don't have a reason for him to be on TV. And you tell me though, like since you obviously knew that he was not around and I did not, you have more information on this matter than I do. So go ahead and fill me in. I'm curious where the dude is, or what makes you say to bring him back. But at the same time, though, I mean, if he was around, what would you want him to do? Because he can't just be there. I mean, he could, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, what would he do? Because he's Hulk Hogan, so you'd want him to do something better than just be on TV. Said wrestling is better than it was back in the day. There we go. Gotta have that full sentence. I mean, are you? There are a lot of ways that I could agree with you, and there are a lot of ways that I could disagree with you. So go ahead and like expand on that just a little bit, so I know what kind of stance you have. Because wrestling, the whole landscape of wrestling, right, all inclusive. I would say yes, it is a little bit better. But certain wrestlings, like this wrestling compared to itself years ago, not better. Not better at all. Oh, okay. Now Bobby Lashley's all worked up over Big E again, like yelling and whatnot in the back. Some very intense dudes, you know. Yeah. So go ahead and expand on what you're saying there, Miles. I feel like I've seen you around here before. You're not new here, right? You've been in the chats, I want to say, or maybe in the comments or something. Your name seems familiar to me. You'll have to forgive me if I don't like remember a whole lot about everybody that comes through here, because I'm not saying I'm like a super popular dude or whatever. Yeah, like these lives, they get a couple people that watch them or whatever. But the comments though, because I get like all kinds of random comments. So now, like, you can't go asking me questions when you haven't even like answered my questions. Not fair, dude. We're still on the wrestling being better thing. Come on, like looking for an answer, looking to see where your mind is. And then maybe we can come back to this always asked question of who's the top wrestler of all time. And now another commercial. What is this? Oh, Crown Jewel is coming up. Was that the one where they had that like, super long? Wait, no, that was just like the Greatest Royal Rumble or something. No, I'm subscribed to your channel. I like your taste in sneakers and reviews. Oh, okay, appreciate that. Yeah, because again, like, and then there's sometimes like I'll see somebody, and like it is common for people to have the same first names, and so that'll throw me off. So I'm like, oh, I think I remember this guy, and it's like, no, no, that's not him. That's a different dude. But yeah, I appreciate that. I do try to keep a somewhat of a variety. And I was like, neither of the two shoe reviews that went up today would really reflect my personal taste. But if you watch the review, then it makes sense. But the review that comes up tomorrow, that one will be back in line with more along like what I'm into. An actual personal review with an on feet and all that stuff, right? So people do like that. And then I think I got to do another review later this week because the box of shoes just showed up like an hour or two ago. So got to go ahead and get those opened up, do the review, all that good stuff. What is this, Charlotte? So now I don't want to like sound bad or mean or rude or whatever, but here's the thing. Charlotte Flair, like I know she like left for a while and she had like I don't know. She had some like tooth work done. She had something done, and now her face looks different. And every time I see her, it's just weird to me because it's like I'm trying to picture like how she looked before and how and what happened to make her look different now, and I can't quite wrap my mind around it. It's just it's weird to me. So she's just very distracting for all the wrong reasons now. Let's see. It was more exciting when I was younger, and now it's people. Now it's more people. It's getting better, but they're okay. Yeah. So there was, and I can only vouch for so far back, right? Because I didn't start really watching until '97, right? But the thing is, like when I started, I was super into it, but it was at the time it was like it was a new thing. So when something is new to you, it's almost like it can't get any better, right? Because everything's like a new surprise. And then with the whole Attitude Era, that had its own thing going on. So there was just a lot of cool stuff happening, right? But then moving on, it's like I look back at it and I'm like, man, I kind of wish the Attitude Era was still happening because there were so many cool things. But I don't know what I would want from it still, because I don't remember anything about the matches, right? Like nothing. I remember like the New Age Outlaws and being like pretty excited to see them, but what was a good match they actually had, right? Because they weren't really known for like it wasn't like the Hart Foundation where you're going to see some technical masterpiece. It was just you're going to be entertained, right? So you get the New Age Outlaws, then you get Too Cool, and you're just like, oh yeah, this is cool, right? It's fun, it's entertaining. But nowadays, there are more wrestlers that are actually good, right? And show that. I get being talented and not showing it because that's the thing that happens too, right? But now, yeah, that's why there are certain things I like now when you look at like AEW or whatever, and I can watch that and they'll have their skirmishes, but then they'll bring out some actual really good matches too. 97 was the golden ages, like 90s hip hop. I mean, personally, like, and I kind of alluded to this a little bit in one of my little daily shoe rants not that long ago. A lot of things overall in the past were just a bit better, right? Because you look back at like the 90s music, right? There were more albums in that 10 years, right, that I will go back to regularly, but even really early 2000s that I'll go back to regularly. And then sure, there's some like recent artists or whatever, we'll say like the last 10, 15 years or whatever, that are pretty consistent in my eyes. But overall, the bulk of the music that I got into and still like to listen to happened 90 to say, like, we could say 2015 or 2005, excuse me, for that 15 years. Yeah, I'm guessing you don't watch AEW, and I get it. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh dude, you gotta watch it, but it is pretty solid. It can be. There are times when it can be a little predictable and like a little repetitive, but I think anything can. But it's just, how do you feel overall when it's said and done is the question. And when that is all said and done, like when the ends of like pay-per-views or ends of Dynamite, I'm like, that was pretty good. Wait, is there a new Halloween? Hey, there's a new Halloween movie coming out with what's her name? Jamie Lee Curtis? Didn't know about that. Like, I went to Comic-Con in 2018, yeah, and she was there talking about her upcoming movie, which was that year's Halloween movie. Then I went and I saw it, and I think it wasn't the first one I'd ever seen, but it was definitely the best one I'd seen. To be clear, though, I'd only seen like one of them, I think, and I think it was like the Rob Zombie one. But yeah, so I'm kind of looking forward to that Halloween movie. Getting back on track though, WCW had a pretty good run. Like they had a very good. I can't vouch for their early '90s stuff with like colorful Sting and Dustin Rhodes or whatever, but their 97 through 97 through I guess 98, 99, whatever. That was good. They were giving the WWF a run for their money at that point. What is she wearing? It's got like this half demon sort of thing, like demon like Finn Balor on like the right side. Maybe she's trying to match up with like Alexa Bliss. And then she's got like some glitter on the left side. Ugh. I'm not going to say Charlotte Flair isn't talented, but I will say I have never been a fan. Like, not in the slightest. She can hold her own in the ring and stuff, and I'll respect that. But sometimes, that's not enough. Sometimes you want somebody to, I don't know, entertain you. I stopped to read that sign. Apparently, that dude in the front row does not like the Goofy movie. But WCW, like, I don't know what happened. It's just like, it's as if they got to the point where they started trying so hard that they didn't try anymore. And then it just imploded. I mean, for a huge multi-million or billion-dollar company, however much money they had, to just kind of destroy themselves and then be bought out by the competition, it was, I that's crazy to me. And honestly, like that just kind of messed up a lot of things. Now, you can argue that one of the good things about that is that it set up AEW to become a thing because people really needed like a true contender to WWF after it had no competition and was just terrible for a while. I'm saying it was terrible that they had no competition because they didn't have to try. So that was cool. But it would have been nice if they had just kind of been able to not be terrible and actually be a viable competitor. But at the same time, you do have to ask, like, if they hadn't gone out of business, if they had just continued to ride out the wave of 97, 98 through however long, what would have happened with like Impact or TNA or whatever, or Ring of Honor? Would those things have really like caught on like they did? I don't know. Because I mean, how many like big promotions can there be when they're working independently? You know, with AEW working with Impact and New Japan, that kind of helps everybody to some extent. But if they were all just doing solo things, competition could make them all better. But I don't know. We'll never know, really, which is kind of unfortunate. So, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. This here, there was a time when I would have expected something good of this. But now, I don't know, with all the mind things, all the like weird magic, I'm curious how it's going to be. Still looking, still looking to see Alexa come out on top. That's what I want. I just don't think it's what's going to happen. But because I think Charlotte has lost a couple matches lately or something, so you would think that she's about due to win. But we'll put the realistic side. We'll put the realistic view to the side for a second here. Looking at this from a wrestling perspective, right? We'll say that Alexa Bliss should come out on top because she's playing all these crazy mind games and Charlotte Flair looks to be falling victim to them, right? So if you want to go that route, that's what I would say. Well, being looking at it from different eyes or whatever. And this is, and I also kind of wonder how long is she going to hold this up, right? Because I don't know that she can. Well, I don't know how creative Alexa Bliss is or whatever, but I'm just gonna say, like, compared to like the Fiend or whatever, he was able to just kind of ride that train out because that was his idea, and he seemed to be a very creative dude overall. So I'm sure he has a lot of ideas for where he wanted to take that. But given that she was kind of brought in, like with him, I don't know if I don't know what her investment is in this particular style of character or whatever, or if she's just kind of going along with whatever people tell her to do. But I don't know, man. I just feel like left to like the WWE creative people, I just feel like this is going to run its course a lot further, or excuse me, a lot sooner than it could have, you know? But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right, whatever. If it ends up with her going back to like normal Alexa Bliss, like the heel one, not like the cheerleader from NXT, I'm cool with that. And if they find a way to make this work, make it interesting for the next another couple months, all right, that could be okay too. But I don't know. So, anyways, Charlotte Flair though, what do you guys think of her? Because I think she's like I was saying before, like I mean, she's talented. She's got the whole speaking part down and all that good stuff. But something about her just makes me not care about her, right? And then, of course, like I was kind of alluding to before, she's also visually distracting because that whole face thing. Try not to take that out of context. But this I'm wondering if this is going to be one of those like long matches because I could kind of see how they might do that. But at the same time, I'm also hoping that it isn't because I don't know. I feel like sometimes like if the pay-per-view is a little bit shorter, just kind of moves a little quicker, it kind of comes off better, right? And this one, I'm not going to make any complaints about any of the matches so far, but it's been a little slow, not very extreme in any way. So really, it's just like I feel like me and probably a lot of the people in the crowd are just waiting on the main event. Which it sucks though, because like I want to see the Demon Finn Balor make his big return and all that stuff. It just sucks knowing that he's not going to win. Like they're just kind of stacking up people to be beaten so that Roman Reigns can have this big win streak or whatever. Even though they're like the heel wins where it's like you didn't really just like beat the guy, but like some other stuff happened and then you beat the guy. Because I mean, he didn't really straight up beat Edge or Daniel Bryan or whoever else. But when he does lose, because it's bound to happen at some point, it'd be kind of cool if it was Seth Rollins. As an Iowa guy, definitely got to root for the home team. But I think he's the one that should be able to take that spot. It just would make sense to me. I mean, I don't know how you guys all feel or whatever, but past that, like, what sucks is like they aren't really creating a lot of other people that are on that level. And that's the thing that, again, going back to what Miles was saying earlier, like, or what we were talking about, like back in like the later '90s when I watched pay-per-views or whatever, a lot of people could legitimately win. Like if there's like a triple threat or a four-way dance or whatever, it was like most of the time, like any of the competitors could win, and you could see it happening, right? It wouldn't be weird. But now it's like you look at these things, it's like, oh man, who's gonna win? It's like we know who's gonna win because they just haven't really built up anybody to be a credible threat, and that's kind of my problem with a lot of things. At least around on this particular show. I mean, like who else is there? You have all these people that have these track records of being good. Like you can say, oh well, Drew McIntyre did this, and Balor did that. Kevin Owens did this. But what have they done lately before this particular match to make it look like they're going to win this particular match, right? That's the question. And the answer usually comes down to nothing, right? So it's not great. And it kind of shoots themselves in the foot. Then you got to cash in on like bringing back John Cena or something. And that works for like a month. Then he goes away. Then you can like bring back somebody else for another month. Then that goes away. So I don't know, man. You would think that they would kind of plan long term because I mean, like, let's say somebody gets injured or whatever, like, main champ or whatever. You got to at least have somebody that you can count on to carry things forward and look like they weren't just thrown in there. Like when Tommaso Ciampa got the NXT title, right? Yeah, that's nobody really questioned that, I don't think, because it's like, okay, yeah, it's Tommaso Ciampa. He's been pretty solid over the last like forever, right? And maybe if he holds on to it for a while and Samoa Joe comes back, like that could make for a pretty entertaining match. See, see. Oh, now she's going back up for the moonsault. And that's like the second moonsault. Well, I mean, she just done one like seconds earlier. Did like that thing that, what's his name? Andrade does, where like he does the one, lands on his feet, then does the other one. And now things have turned in Alexa's favor. Does it matter though? I don't know. She hit one of those little Canadian destroyers. Looks pretty fluid, so that's cool. Because I see some of those and they just look all herky-jerky, very, very clunky. It's like, you see people do stuff sometimes and it makes you think like, you should not put that move in your inventory just yet. Or maybe, maybe work on it a little bit more before you go using it like solo. Man, she almost completely missed that rope. Oh, okay. Because you can't always see what's going on because, like, things are happening off camera, but it just looked weird. So now, what is this? It's taking forever to do whatever it is she's about to do. And she missed that by a lot. And now there's oh, nope, she's going for the figure 8, as she calls it. Got a close 3 count. Charlotte kicked out. Now Charlotte has been DDT'd. And the foot on the rope because she was so close to the side. Again, it's one of those things like, it happens. You see it coming. It's like, nobody really wins with DDTs anymore. I mean, I guess maybe Edge does sometimes, but he's got that, I think he does some kind of DDT variation or something. But as far as like just like Jake the Snake, Raven, just DDT, for victory, doesn't really happen anymore. It kind of sucks. I always thought that was a really cool move, Real simple, real basic, but it gets the job done. Now the big boot to the face. It's almost weird how much bigger Charlotte is compared to Alexa. Like they're fighting. It's like, it looks like it should be no competition. You know what I mean? Because there's such a size difference. Yeah, and there it is. Charlotte. Oh, I forgot Charlotte is champion, isn't she? So yeah, so Charlotte won. Big surprise. This is a rough watch tonight. We got Spanish commentary and pre-show match, and now, dude, like I was talking about that earlier, because and it went on through like the whole Carmella Liv Morgan match. Because at first I thought I heard it, but I was like, no, that can't be right. And then it just like kept going for like the next forever. There's no current match because like the last one just ended. But yeah, it just kept going like forever, right? So I'm just like, what in the world? Like this Peacock thing, like NBC is no small company, right? So I don't see what their problem is as far as not being able to have like a decent streaming service. And also I'm not thrilled about the fact that they even switched from the WWE network to this when this thing wasn't even complete. I mean, I think when the network shut down, they didn't have like the ECW stuff on here, from what I recall, or they had like maybe like a couple shows or something. They didn't have like the whole NXT takeover backlog. It was just, oh, now she's destroyed the girl's doll, and just want this to be over. That's how I tend to feel about things. What is this? What order? Oh, okay. You just got an email saying my order has shipped. Bought some trail something or other from Adidas Saturday. Some kind of Sean Wotherspoon something. I don't know what it really was, honestly. But I saw it, and at first I was like, I don't know about all that. And I clicked on the pictures, and they were just saying like, oh, go explore the city or leave the city, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, I leave the city all the time. And do a lot of trail shoe reviews, right? So then I was like, okay, maybe I'm on board with these. So hopefully it's not terrible. We'll see when it gets here. I just got a pair of shoes in today from Adidas that I ordered on Friday. So that was unexpected to ship so quickly, you know? So got those in, probably open those up later or something. See what's going on with that. But yeah, it was just weird that they shipped so quickly because sometimes I get those notices from Adidas and they're like, or from FedEx rather, or whatever. They're like, oh, your shoes will be there on this day. And I'm like, I don't think they will. But today, like, sure enough, like around 7 o'clock, and it's Sunday, you know? Like maybe All Out ruined this show for us. It just kind of feels like Raw tonight. Man, like All Out, they set a bar, right? And other people, it's like, I think they're just not, well, these guys, I think they're just not going to try. They're just like, I mean, they always say that whole thing like, oh, yeah, we don't pay attention to them. We just do our own things. Like, yeah, how's that working out for you? Like, your own thing is basically like making 3 hours of terrible TV every Monday night. Well, that's not fair. 2.5 hours of terrible TV every night, every Monday night. And even then, if you take out all the replays and all that and the commercials, like if you really looked at how much good comes out of an episode of Raw, it's probably like 15 minutes, maybe, which is unfortunate, you know, because when I was younger, like seeing Raw was like the thing, you know. It was like I need to be home by 7 or what. I was mostly in like the Missouri in the Central Time Zone during that time frame. So it's like I need to be home in time to like watch this thing, you know. And it was cool because like the store that I worked in wasn't open on Mondays, so I was able to do that. I haven't hit on Adidas in a year. The NMD, nobody cares about those NMDs that just released in the Brown Wave Runner or whatever. Struck it. I did not try for either. I feel like if I did, I probably would have got them. So it makes me think twice about trying for Adidas shoes because I don't know if it's like my luck or like the sizes that I'm going for or whatever, but my track record with Adidas is solid. Like I can't make any I can't make any jokes about that. What's going on with her? So I don't know. I guess this is the turning point for Alexa's character or something. She's gonna. Is she like foaming at the mouth or what is this? That's just disgusting. She looks like a rabid raccoon, you know, with bad face paint. That's what this looks like to me. Not that I've ever seen a rabid raccoon, but just using my imagination. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Exactly. Watching Raw was necessary so you could. Yeah, man. Like, dude, like there was. I remember the first time that I saw an episode of Raw, right? Which was about 20 miles, I think, that way. And it was about, how long ago was 97? A lot of years ago. And I was flipping through the channels and I was like, man, what's going on here? Because I recognized The Undertaker, right? Because I knew that character because I guess just everybody knows The Undertaker. You just know him. And he's in the ring and like Mankind was there. I didn't know Mankind at the time, but well, I wonder what's happening here. And then like they're getting into their little skirmish or whatever you want to call it. And then somebody, I think it was Mankind, threw some fire in the Undertaker's face. And I was like, what in the world just happened here? And so I'm telling my friend about it the next day at school, you know, or like at the bus stop. Cause like, I think we went to different schools, but because he was like a year younger than me. Yeah, so he went to like a different school, but we had the same bus stop. And so I'm telling him about it. I'm like, dude, like I was watching wrestling and like this happened. And he's like, oh yeah, man, they're gonna have a big fight at the pay-per-view. You should come on over and watch it, you know? Because he had one of those black box things where like he, you know, the descramblers. So I was able to just go over there and hang out with him. Actually, I should message him because like I was supposed to like meet up with that dude because I just tracked him down the other day. But yeah, so I ended up going over to his house for the next like several months watching all the pay-per-views and stuff. It's pretty awesome, man. Because that's back when, again, like you were watching that stuff and like everything that happened, like each minute was better than the last. And I could sit there and not leave the room for that 2 hours because I believe Raw was only 2 hours then. And then the next day at school, you talk all about it, right? Teacher can go on and on about like geology or whatever, but like none of that matters, right? Brian Pillman is what matters. It's personal preference or personal opinion, of course, right? Let's see there. How does this even work? But yeah, let's see. Good size run of the 700. Nobody cares about any of those. I almost bought a pair just because they're black and yellow, and I like black and yellow shoes. But then I bought a different black and yellow shoe. So still Boost, just different model, better model. Where's this dude's name on here? I'm trying to find. So I think there we go. But yeah, man, like that was definitely like a good time to watch. And now, like, I mean, AEW has kind of brought that back here and there. Like, not every week has a great Dynamite or maybe even Rampage, but they're good enough that it gives you something to talk about. Let's see. Yeah, so Scott, if he's watching this pay-per-view. But so now let's see what's next. Well, that's not next. That's like the main event. I mean, is it? Is it the main event time already? I would just imagine it's not because it's only been going on for like an hour and a half. Okay, yeah, they just said still to come, so they're gonna make us sit through some more trash before they get to it. Oh, this like forgot there's a Jeff Hardy match. It's weird that Jeff Hardy is still like wrestling in a way, you know? And they're kind of building this up like he might actually win. So we'll see what happens. I heard Jeff Hardy makes music. Has anybody out there like ever listened to any of his music? Because I haven't, and I don't know that I want to. Like something about him makes me question that. I mean, it could be like really good, but I don't know. And part of me, I think part of me just likes it being a mystery of like, what's it like, you know? But I just imagined it would have like all kinds of like noises in it, you know, like lots of like random like remember like Owen Hart's music where it had like the like construction sounds and stuff in it. I feel like that kind of stuff would be like all throughout Jeff Hardy's music. You know, there'd be like banging and clanging and like loud screeching and stuff and a lot of bass drums or something. I don't know. That's just what I imagine. But who knows? Could be wrong. Could be like super wrong. What in the world? I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. Okay, so somebody out there has heard it, which means that 100% of the people I've asked about that music like it. So, not a wise sampling, but numbers don't lie, right? That's what old Ty Dillinger used to say. Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger. Let's see, Jeff Hardy is one of my favorite all-time wrestlers, but I can't imagine him doing music. Well, you don't have to imagine it. It's happening. I mean, not right now. He's having a match right now, but you could copy and paste what he just said and go and fire that up on the YouTube or the Spotify or wherever you go to listen to music. Maybe Amazon Music, his Tidal, perhaps SoundCloud. I could see him being a SoundCloud guy. Why is Shane still wearing this thing? Robert Valentine, what is going on, man? Appreciate you stopping in and whatnot. Sheamus is a weird dude. He's got this weird like that face guard thing that you see like I used to see like basketball players wear it, you know, something like that, you know. And then he's got like this weird like furry coat, and then he opens it up like he's flashing everybody, kind of like that gremlin from Gremlins 2, you know? Which I actually have the figure of that because I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with Sheamus, and I don't approve of it. But I will say, I was cool with Sheamus for one night, and that night was Survivor Series 2015 because I was there in Atlanta at whatever arena that was when he came out there and he stole the title from, I assume, Roman Reigns, and that made me feel pretty all right. You know, it was a nice happy ending. Let's see. Jeff Hardy sang his own thing. Shawn Michaels did that too. And Keith Lee, right? And somebody else. Who else? Who else? Oh, so this is a three-way match because now there's old Damian Priest. I can't see. I just don't see Damian Priest losing. It seems like they've got a lot going on this guy, but if he does lose, I'm gonna say that since this is a three-way and it's not an elimination style like ECW or whatever, I'm gonna say that if Jeff Hardy wins, it's probably by pinning Sheamus. That's just what makes sense to me. Oh yeah, usually I paste a link in here or something if anybody wants to jump in. But I've been sitting here just staring at the screen and just talking for the last hour and a half and didn't really think about it. So I guess I could do that. That should be it. If anybody does care to, you know, there is a link there, right? You can say your thoughts in real time or something. I don't know why that's not letting me click on the thing to actually do something with it. I don't know. It is there. Won't let me pin it for whatever reason, but well, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not a whole. Luckily, like people aren't talking too much, which is good sometimes because then I don't have to actually focus on the chat. I can like look away from it for a few minutes and look back, and it's like maybe there's like one or two other messages. That's why I like having, because I know like, and I've said it before, like people will often like to get the word out on their lives and have like everybody that can possibly attend. I kind of don't like that because it just leads to a lot of like trying to keep up with too much, you know? I'm not that kind of guy. I like to just take the basic route. Wait, what is this? Let's see. This seems to be a little bit behind because I'm watching the actual stream on YouTube right now because that's where I mostly focus my attention. But for some reason, it seems like it's way off, at least on the chat thing. So let me reopen that, see what the problem is there. Maybe that'll get me caught up on things and stuff. But in the meantime, let's see. Over here on this, so fun fact about Sheamus, he uses sunscreen like all the time so it doesn't get a tan. He is committed to that character. Interesting. Like that's weird to me in some ways, but at the same time, you know, that's what he wants to do. I get it, you know, because some people they really do like to live the gimmick, as they say. Actually, for some reason, it's not letting me paste that in there. So yeah, so I was gonna paste it in there, but apparently it's doing that thing where it's acting a little weird. So I might have to go and change some setting or something on somewhere. So I think that's how that works in when I'm actually doing these streams or whatever. Ooh, man, I tell you, like some of these guys take some risks that like I don't know if they like really think them out or whatever. Or maybe it's just in the moment. You're just like, whatever. Like when you're like a little kid, you know, and you just do something crazy because it's what makes sense to you and you do it before you think about it. Maybe that's what's going on here. But that little flip thing that he just did seems like it was not in his best interest. But hey, he's got the upper hand now. He just might not feel so great about it later. Let's see. Trying to make some change, see if that does anything for this thing. Probably not, honestly. But you never know. Let's see. Because I know sometimes things are just a little bit weird with these streams, and I don't quite get it. But now let's go ahead and open this back up. If it opens, great. If it doesn't, so be it. Let's see if man, that. And then they have these ring posts that they make a lot more noise than impact, I think. Yeah. But you know, it is kind of a good thing, I guess, to use the sunscreen anyway, because you know, there's like skin cancer or whatever that supposedly that helps prevent. I don't know how much truth there is to that. You know what I'm saying? It's a thing that I heard somewhere, and so now I just kind of pass it on. Man, this thing is definitely being a little weird today. But what is that? So now getting things back turned around. Priest is out of the pictures, down to just old Sheamus and Hardy, homegrown's favorite. Man, but does anybody know why he's wearing this like weird mask thing? I mean, did he have like an actual injury? Because I've seen people do that, you know, where I think, what was that guy? Cesaro did that for a while. So you used to be a huge Bret fan. Yeah, you know, like I have a Bret Hart poster that's hangs out in the background of some of my videos. Every now and then when I'm doing my little whatever shoes I wore for the day rant, I just kind of look at the couple posters and usually I'll think like, okay, which one did I use in the background last time? And then I'll just try to use a different one. But if like all my stuff is still set up from like recording other reviews or whatever, which is usually right here, that's why you'll often see like Hangman Page and Marty Scurll in the background. But welcome. Grab Gravy. Oh, now he's beating him in the chest. But yeah, I do talk about the wrestling from time to time because it's just, I don't know, it gives me something to do, you know? Especially like on the days after, if I've done like a live or, if I've done an unboxing or review or whatever the case is earlier in the day. Because normally, when I do lives, it's because I did another video that day and I have all my lights still out and ready to go. 9 times out of 10, I'm not setting anything up just to do a live. I'm a little bit lazy, you know? It might not always show, you know, depending on how closely you're looking at things, but if you know what to look for, you'll see through the smoke and mirrors. That's for sure. But yeah, just take my word for it. Let's see. But you say you do remember the Bret Hart? Yeah, it's let's see. Probably I'd assume I probably had him in the background of that, maybe those Windbreaker Air Max 1s. That sounds right, because I do remember wearing an Alanis Morissette shirt and, you know, Canadian pride or whatever. But sometimes it is just like, what do I feel like doing? And I used that Undertaker poster the other day because that one doesn't come out very often. But I had a WrestleMania 34 shirt on, which was like the last time seeing him in like, you know, Ready to Rock or whatever. And I tell you, man, like it was sad in a way, but like cool in a way. You know, WrestleMania 34, Undertaker came out, fought John Cena, had like a 2-minute squash match or whatever. Dude was in like great shape and stuff, you know? And even in his little documentary, he talked about how he was prepared, like physically and everything, to do like a solid 20-minute match. And he just came out there, played the hits, and then that was it. Because that's what he was asked to do or whatever. So it is what it is. So it was cool to see him do a match like that, kind of remind you like the older times. But it was sad in the sense that, like, if I had known that was going to be the last time I saw him wrestle, I would have definitely hoped to see more of it. But it was cool. I mean, I can't complain overall. It's like I know a lot of fellow wrestling fans that never get to go to any of those events and stuff. So, they never get to see like their favorite people do whatever. That looked like a tap. Even like, I don't know. I don't know, man. Looked like Jeff Hardy tapped out there. But whatever. And where's that third dude to come and break this thing up? Oh, now Sheamus doesn't have the mask thing on. Just noticed that. Yeah, work smarter, not harder. Yeah, man. That's exactly how I feel. Because, like, the thing is, when I come home from work, it's like if I see all this crap over here, I'm just like, you know what? Let me just go stand over there, say my piece about these things, and then be done, right? And it's weird because, like, when the stuff isn't out, like if I haven't been recording lately, then I have to set it up. And it's like, man, it sucks because it's like I go through this extra hassle so that I can record like a 1 minute video. And then I like go and jump in Premiere and kind of adjust the coloring and the sound just a little bit. So it's like I do a lot more. I put a lot more effort into those on the back end than the front end, and it's like it's not necessarily worth it, but it makes sense. Wait, what is? Oh, dude just fell there. Trying to go for that twist of fate or whatever. There it is. Let's see. It was weird seeing The Undertaker playing more of himself recently and not his character after being so careful with it for many years. Yeah, man. Like, I saw that and I'm still not completely on board with it. And, like, I actually met The Undertaker through one of those, what do you call it? Like, those online camera things. It wasn't like an in person meet and greet because it was like last summer or something. But yeah, I met the Undertaker through one of those because I got some like email things like, hey, if you want to meet the Undertaker, head over to this link so we can get you registered. And I was like, all right, sure. And it was just weird. Why is he dancing? All right, the Hardy thing. But yeah, so it was weird, like, because he's sitting there in his like normal clothes in his little computer room lobby, not lobby, lounge type den or whatever. And we're just kind of talking about random stuff. And I'm like, eh, this is weird. Like, I'm cool with this, like, because like I've always wanted to be able to like talk to the dude or whatever. But I'm not completely cool with him being not in character. Though if he was in character, it would have been a very short conversation. He would have been like he would have mumbled some stuff about like I don't know, digging holes and taking souls or something, and then mumbled the whole rest in peace thing, and yeah, and that would have been it. But at the same time, if it was in person, I think I would have been like, yeah, cool. So let's get a picture, dude. Let's see. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I mean, I get that he was kind of winding down, but the one cool thing is that like the Undertaker, he's got to have like all the stories, because he's been there for years. And I'm sure some of them he's probably going to have to keep to himself so it doesn't incriminate anybody. But I'm sure he's just got like a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. So last year, and also some other time a couple years ago, I've seen Mick Foley do his little traveling shows where he just kind of like tells stories about his life. And it's like half stand-up comedy, half like oral autobiography. And it's like a really good time. So I would imagine like the Undertaker could probably do that. I don't think it'd be as funny, yeah, because he doesn't strike me as a comedy guy, but I think it'd be interesting all the same. Let's see. I heard his wife has a lot to do with it. Don't know how much. I mean, I think he said that his. Well, wait. I don't want to. I don't want to. Oh, he almost had it. Jeff Hardy almost had it. But I do remember seeing his wife, something about his wife playing a role in, but I just can't remember what the role was. Because I want to say she tried to get him to like open up more after he retired. Yeah. So Damian Priest won. So yeah, same thing. Like I was kind of expecting. Like if Jeff Hardy won, that he'd pin Sheamus because they've built up Jeff Hardy so much lately. But instead, Damian Priest won because he pinned Sheamus. So Sheamus was there as the third wheel for a reason. Let's see. But yeah, Foley always had the horror comedic angle. Yeah, man. Like, and seeing him, like, because I need to put that poster up because, like, I got a little signed picture because I did the VIP thing as well. So I got a poster and it's like, it's him as Dude Love, Cactus Jack, and Mankind, right? So, and he's signed 3 signatures on it. So it's just kind of a cool piece to have. I just need to actually get that hung up at some point somewhere. Because I have other posters like Undertaker sized that I haven't hung up yet. I have the Iron Man, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels poster, and then some Stone Cold one from 316 Day. I think I just wasn't sure where I wanted to put them. So that's something to get figured out because I'd like to have it so in a place where I could use it as backgrounds for my rant videos or whatever. So maybe right here on this wall because I don't use that wall often enough. Let's see. Yeah, I was watching a show where he was looking through his storage unit. It was going to auctions on. It's weird to see. Yeah. I think I saw. I didn't see that show, but like I saw that. I think it was A&E did a series of shows about that. Oh wait, is that Dude Respond? No, that's something else. Oh, okay, but yeah, I saw. I don't know, something where like people were going around trying to like buy back various memorabilia or whatever. And honestly, like from the things I heard about it, I wonder how authentic a lot of it was. Because I feel like there was a piece where people were like actually real in their like emotional attachment to certain things. But I feel like the actual show itself, because it is a reality show and you gotta like present those in a way to like have some sort of interest. I don't know. I just don't feel that they were 100% because they had that, and then they also had it's like legends or biographies or something like that, where it's just kind of shows about people. And I think because I remember hearing a lot of bad things about the Macho Man episode because they were saying that when he was on there for the episode with him on there that they just kind of drug his name through the mud, so to speak, and like he wasn't even obviously like, dude's not around to even defend himself. So it made me want to go and watch that episode, but I really just keep forgetting. There's a lot of stuff that I'd like to watch and just kind of keep forgetting about. I mean, I've been it's, it's been the last weeks trying to watch Marvel What If on Disney Plus. Like they're short episodes, there's only like 6 of them, 7 of them, but I just keep forgetting that it's a thing. And then of course like dealing with some of this stuff kind of I don't want to say gets in the way because it is like a choice that I make to like do these YouTube things, but I can't say it doesn't take up a certain amount of my time. So, and yeah, these it's just I don't know that I'm gonna get used to them having like all these random commercials in these shows. And I saw a commercial earlier where like I think it was Alexis SUV that had Alexa built into it, and it's like that seems a little weird. Like I get like around here, it's convenient because I can say, oh, do this to the air conditioning or turn this light off or whatever, because I might not be near that light. But if you're in your car, like, do you really need her to like turn on the overhead lamp for you? Like, just reach up, like, how lazy are people nowadays? Like, what is going on with that? Eventually, I mean, the cars are soon enough going to be driving themselves, so eventually you're just going to get in the car and everything else is going to happen for you. Yeah, it's just weird to me. Yeah, only 24, exactly. It's only 24 hours in a day, so like you can only do so much with it, So you just got to pick and choose, and especially if you want to sleep at some point, which is the thing that I try to get a little bit of that in. Yeah, that last thing I wanted is Alexa in my car. More stuff to break or go, but yeah, because like it just seems unnecessary. It's because there's nothing that I need to happen in there by her, right? Because I'm not doing anything that serious, I mean, maybe it's because I'm old fashioned. I'm used to like pushing buttons to turn lights on or whatever. I mean, and I'm sure with like the phone or whatever, this is handy enough, like, because I can, if I want to hear certain music or whatever, I can ask the phone to like play something, like, oh, hey, play Millencolin, and then it'll play like some Millencolin from Spotify, which is cool. But I don't need a full on voice assistant in there. It's just, and it's going to be like a somewhat crippled version of it because it's just built for the car. So I feel like it's more I feel like it's more proof of concept than anything, Like saying, "Oh, hey, like we can do this." It's like, yeah, but not everything that you can do is worth doing. I think we can all agree to that, right? Let's see. And everything's within reach. It's weird. The series upload on Amazon Video just shows the bad side of fully autonomous cars. Oh, yeah. I have Amazon. Like, I don't know the last time I watched anything on there. 'Cause that's another thing that I forget about. And I hear that Amazon's got some decent stuff on there. I do remember watching an episode of The Cosby Show years ago. That's probably not there anymore, though. I got into it, I was like, man, this Cosby Show was all right. I mean, there's some things to be said from a good standpoint about like the fully auto cars, But I think one of the things that maybe the bigger thing to me is like what it does to people, and like it just makes you not pay attention. Not everybody, sure, but it's gonna make a lot of people just bad at driving, Because I've been in the car with some people that were bad at driving, and one time it was this Asian woman, and like I know there's like stereotypes. I get that whole thing, right? But like when you see it happen before your eyes, you're like, okay, guess there's some truth to it. Cause it's like we're like driving and there's like this lane over here. And I'm like, I think you need to be over there because we need to go that way. She's like, oh, and she's like gets over. It's like inches away from just like hitting this car that was like kind of like also coming up to the turn. And like they honk. She's like, oh, what's that all about? Like, what do you mean? What's that all about? Like, you tried to kill that person, possibly. It's weird, But people like that is what would become common, isn't in my eyes, over time. Because I mean, you already have people who probably can't really park very well or whatever. Because like, if they don't have like a little backup mirror or whatever, or not mirror, screen, and I get it, but at the same time, it's like there's convenience with those things. At the same time, you lose other skills, And now here's Bianca Bel-Air. She's like the first person in like a long time to come out of NXT and like actually matter for an extended period of time. I mean, Kevin Owens is like, I guess he's never been completely out of the picture, but everybody else, man, I don't know. It's like, who else was like, Finn Balor kind of had his run initially, and then that kind of fell apart. Um, Becky Lynch, no, she came out of there and then was not really on top of anything for like a long time. Then then she got punched in the face and her whole world turned around. Let's see, where would I leave off? Okay, what if someone hacks your card? Nothing electronic has been shown to. Well, yeah, that's the thing, because it's like where there's a will, there's a way, you know? Especially if you can get physical access to something, if it's, going like off the computer thing. Good job. Good job on chat live stream. Keep up the good work on channel. Got to finish watching this and get ready for a post show. All right. Sounds good, man. Appreciate you stopping in and all that good stuff. If the link had been available, for some reason I couldn't post it, I would have let you jump in here. But we'll cross paths again, I'm sure. Thanks for stopping in, though. I hate to say this, but a lot of people are dumb. No. It's true. A lot of people are very dumb. Trust me. I see a lot of the population nowadays, or at least a small subset of it. You can't take anything for granted that people will do. The stupidity is endless. That is a straight up fact. Actually, where's that thing? Because I get so wrapped up in like reading this stuff over here. So my mindset on different lives is different, right? If this was like the monthly recaps or whatever, I'm a little more on the whole pinning things. This time around, I'm usually more just like reading and responding. So it's just one of those things. And then he says, exactly, to homegrown, they just shut down the Eastern Pipeline. Yeah, exactly. And I want to say there was something about like hacking cars, because I mean, that's kind of what, I don't know if it's a thing anymore, but I remember hearing people like hacking their own Teslas and stuff, like enabling features or whatever. And then, of course, with the other side of that, like you may have seen in the news last year, somebody bought a Tesla with all these features, sold it to somebody else, and then Tesla took away all those features because the person who sold it to didn't pay for those. So like, if there's that back door for them, like no back door is like completely safe, right? Like, I mean, some of the people that have, enough time on their hands have made it through some pretty tough security here and there, right? Because if you want to get into somewhere and you've got enough minds on your side, you're gonna get in. Becky Lynch is wearing like I don't know what her look is that she's going for, but she should have left that as a thought. I mean, I know Seth Rollins switches it up every so often, but for him it works because he's like, I don't know, he pulls it off, He's got that Iowa swag or something. That's not a thing, trust me. But yeah, he makes it work. She's just coming out here just looking weird. So, whatever. But it is looking like it's going to be a real match. So this one should actually be pretty decent, right? So hopefully that's the case. We shall see. But yeah, that pipeline thing was kind of crazy. Remember, there was a bunch of people like buying gas and putting it in like plastic bags, and people's Hummers were blowing up because they had like gas spilled all over the back of them. Going back to the whole people being stupid thing. Yeah. Because like I saw that, I was like, should I get some gas? And I was like, well, because like I just got a new car like several months ago, so now I have two, because like the old one is like, I still have it because why get rid of it? So I was like, well, between both of these cars, like I'm gonna assume that I probably got like a good full tank, and I don't go anywhere because like I work like 5 miles from where I live or something ridiculous. So it's like, or 5 minutes, whatever. Maybe it is 5 miles too, but yeah, I'm like, I don't go anywhere. I'll be fine, right? I'll be good enough for all this to blow over. And then like 2 days later, it's like back to normal. Let's see. I didn't see that. If that's the case, you would think if used car market would be low if they do. Yeah, I think that when that happened, that because like they did end up going back and saying and doing the right thing by like public opinion, of course. where they're like, okay, like we're not going to take away those features and stuff, because it would be foolish to do that, right? Like you bought something, you sell that something in its current condition, right? You don't expect someone to just go in there and take it away. Let's see. Hackers in Atlanta hacked the local police department's new Ford Fusions and held them for ransom. You say the city never paid them and they were never able to use those cars. And that's kind of like what you do, you know? They always say, like, don't pay the people, just like, don't pay them, right? And I get sometimes, like, it might make sense. You want your stuff back or whatever. But you should also, if it's like on a personal level, you should probably consider backing up the data that's actually important. You know, that's what the cloud services are there for. They're very robust nowadays. And then if you're like a business, you know, like sometimes you just got to cut your losses because it does set that precedent. If everybody's like constantly like paying for it, then people will, you know, keep doing it, right? Because they see that it's a viable option to get a bunch of free money. And I get that you're probably going to want that stuff back, but you know, sometimes you just got to cut your losses. Like that huge fire in, I forget, it was somewhere in California. Was it Warner Studios? I forget where, but some huge music studio caught on fire. Like so many people lost so many original masters and all this stuff, right? It sucks that it happened. Yes, it really does. But in that case, there was like, oh, well, you know, it's nothing you can do. So just kind of treat it like that in a way. Just accept the fact that it's going to suck a whole heck of a lot, but just move on. I saw a lady put bags of gas in her trunk. Thought everyone knew gas melted. Yeah, like I people were doing some crazy. Even the people that were putting it into stuff that was like that it kind of made sense. It still didn't make sense because it's like, look, you're gonna be okay. Like what you're trying to do here is unnecessary. Like yeah, that thin plastic, it's not the way. Let's see. I was in city center, so oh, okay. Like the Oyster Point type thing. Is that what they call that? Like where what's that place? I took some tests up there, like certification tests, like computer related things. At is it Pearson View or was it New Horizons? I heard there's also like a good Mexican place over there. Let's see. Now Tesla's specified the options were rented. That's different. Yeah, I mean, if there's some kind of written thing, it's like, hey, these are for you. Period. Can't resell them, and they didn't read a contract. Okay, sure, but it seemed like that wasn't the case from what I recall. But if they're selling you those upgrades, then they're yours. Exactly. That's why I bought a disc version. Yeah, you know, like it's funny because like I just got through on a PS5 order like Thursday, and it's because like I had some free time and I was like just trying to get through because like I was like, well, I'm not doing anything else right now. I can click this button, and then like it showed up in the cart because it's Walmart, and I was like, wait, what? So then I clicked on the cart and clicked on checkout, and it's like, PayPal, just the quickest thing to make sure this actually happens. And it's like, all right, cool, you're good. Your order will be there whenever. And I'm like, oh, and so in the moment I was kind of like, I was almost saddened because it was like, man, I was about to buy this one of those Wacom tablets, you know, WACOM, because I wanted to get back into like drawing and stuff, and that seemed like a cool way to do it. So I was all set, like it all read up on stuff to figure out which one I wanted, and then I bought a PS5, and I was like, well, now I don't have that money to throw around on a tablet anymore because they're close to the same price actually. But at the same time, I'm looking forward to finally being able to play Ratchet and Clank, which is the only game that I wanted a PS5 for. And then I noticed that PS5 games are freaking expensive. I found that out yesterday when I was looked online to see how much it was, and it's like $60, $70. I'm like, what in the world? So yeah, stuff's expensive, man. It might have been Paramount. I honestly don't remember. I'd have to look it up. Let's see. I don't have a new PS5 or Xbox for that. For the fact I refuse to pay pay botters. Like, you don't have to pay resale. You just gotta like put in a bunch of effort. Because my thing was like, when those things first came out, actually, if I pin this, I'll remember exactly where I left off. So my thing was like, I don't care to have one right now, like when they first came out. Because I was like, by the time Ratchet and Clank comes out, these things should be readily available. And then they were not, right? Like month after month after month after month after month after month, they just kept not being available. They have gotten a little bit easier, right? To the point to where like I actually hear about normal people buying them and stuff. But still, man, I was like, I saw no reason to pay resale because I never pay resale. And the one thing else was that like I have a PS4 with many unplayed games. Some of those I have played but not even finished, like Tomb Raider, right? So the desire was that much lower because it just didn't much matter. But then it just kind of worked out, and I was like, well, I guess now I'll have a PS5 for in like a month or something. Let's see. I was able to get them for Let's see. I was able to get them for retail. Refuse pay. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like if anything, it'll decrease in value when like a modern, or excuse me, a newer version comes out when they're like, oh look, smaller heat sinks, faster load time, whatever, whatever. Yeah, Oyster Point City Center, literally right next. Okay, yeah, I know like exactly where that is. There's two good Mexican restaurants right by. Sauces is one. I wonder if that's the one. I'd have to look at a map to see which one we were talking about because we were between things the other day at work, so we're just looking up random restaurants, and that was one that somebody brought up. Looks like a lot in Norfolk too, for whatever reason. Let's see. It's crazy to think the PS5s. Yeah, I did not see that being the situation because I've never had to put in any effort to. Now I didn't get my PS5 or my PS4, or did I? Actually, you know what? I kind of did because I was sitting at home playing Borderlands on PC. You know, I don't know why I did that because I wasn't the motion for it. I was sitting at home playing Borderlands on PC and got the little notification that Amazon had they emailed me about pre-orders for PS4s. So I bought the Killzone bundle and jumped right back in the game. And then eventually that showed up a few months later, whenever they came out. And with the PS3, I bought that one. I think I bought that one like 2 months or so after they came out because there was some coupon online for Kmart where if you could take it to the store and it was like 20% off of a purchase. And I printed it out with like the worst printer that probably ever existed. And I went to Kmart and I'm like, hey, I have this coupon and I'd like to buy a PS3. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. And they scanned it and they gave it to me. And then like the PS2, I caught a restock early on because I went into the store and they're like, oh yeah, we'll have PS2s this weekend. And I got there that weekend and everybody was there, right? So when the store opened, I rushed to the back. All those other people were there to buy some like Jordan whatever that released that day. And it was like 25 people. Like me and like two other people were there for the actual PS3s or PS2s. It's crazy. So now that tangent's over, getting back on track. They went up $10. Okay. And PS4 is still a great system. Yeah, exactly. Like I got no problems with it. The only thing for me, right, because I didn't get like the Pro PS4 or anything like that. I had the original one. So the PS5 will have like the 4K stuff and all that. So that's cool. So I'll be putting that in the living room because I had to get a new TV there last year when my old one stopped working. So for the price of a pair of Jordan 11s, I got a pretty decent TV from Sam's Club. Let's see. Wait. Did I just click on the wrong thing? Let's see. The way through Twitter. Yeah, I use Twitter notifications as well. And it just the Walmart one was the most reliable though because they do theirs in like 10-minute waves. Maybe other stores do, but like it'll say unavailable and then you just kind of keep clicking and then eventually it's available again. So with Walmart, it kind of reminded me like it was like Dick's Sporting Goods on like release day, where if you're patient, it seems like that's the trick to it. It's like just to be patient. Let's see. Easy for the PS5. Yeah, I will agree with that. But I will say for the PS5, the first time I actually put in real effort to get one, other than just going to a web page and clicking on, it's like, oh, it's sold out. The first time I put in actual effort was like the time that I actually got it. Let's see. In my area, it's still a struggle even with notifications. I'm still searching for both, obviously. Question for you: which one would, if both were readily available right now, which one would you buy first? I get that you're going for both, but which one would you buy first? Yeah, PS4 was pretty tough to get to. I was able to get on release day in 2013, but that was only hard for like 2, 3. Yeah, exactly. That's why I figured by the time June rolled around, I'd be good. Let's see. I didn't get a PS2 until Gran Turismo came out. Wow. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah. Wow. I stand by the wow. I bought a new TV when I bought the PS5 and Xbox. OLED 65-inch. Amazing TV. Yeah, I went the cheap route. I got a TCL from Sam's Club for like I said, 220. Because again, I just needed something to replace a very cheap LCD from JVC that I'd had for about 10 years. Well, no, last year. So for 12 years, I had that TV. 13 technically, if you actually do the math. But when it stopped, I was like, well, I guess I should. I was kind of like, man, I don't want to buy a new TV because I hadn't bought a TV since like 2009. Like when I bought this one, the one I'm watching this pay-per-view on, and it's a 50-inch plasma. A 50-inch plasma in 2009 cost a pretty penny, right? So I was thinking I was gonna have to put up money like that. Then I went to Sam's and like, here, 43-inch, $200 something, 220. I was like, oh, well that changes everything. And they're super small, so I was able to throw it in the back of the car and keep it moving. But if it was my main TV, like out in here in the living room, I'd probably take a different route and want something better. You know, I'd probably do more research like I usually do. But in this case, it was fine. I bought my nephew PS5 on StockX of all. Yeah, I know they had them. I remember there was also a time when everybody was doing like PS5 raffles where it's like, oh, it's 20 slots and like it's $30 a slot. It's like I didn't I didn't care for that because like I mean it works out for the people that win, but it's it's a little it's not scammy, but it's kind of taking advantage of the situation at the same time. Now, if the slots that they were selling were the equivalent of the PS5 price, then I would have been cool with it. But I'm just not big on like charging people more than you should charge them or trying to make more money off of something than you should make, you know? It's just a personal thing. Last TV you bought was 2005. Let's see. In 2005, I had a 720p ViewSonic. That was, I mean, it was like it was one of those things that blurred the lines between like TV and monitor, you know, because it's like a little while ago. I think I still have it somewhere. It must be in my storage unit. I prefer the Series X, you know, simply because the games on it. PS5. See, and that was the other thing. That's why I couldn't really care a lot, you know. But I did buy Borderlands 3 recently, so now if I play that on the PS5, it'll look better, probably load faster. Which reminds me, now I need to get one of those expanded storage things, you know, one of those NVMe cards, so I can. Well, I guess I'll only have the one game, so maybe I don't need one yet. I get the Xbox only because Microsoft has been on a shopping spree buying up all PlayStation exclusives. So you saying you get the Xbox because they have PlayStation exclusives, which makes me think you may as well just get the PlayStation. Had a Sony Bravia before my LG. Put the 48 in my room in 2006. Yeah, this Panasonic is one of their Vieras. Because at the time, if you wanted a good plasma, you either got the the Pioneer Curo or this. I think the THX model was a little better, but I did get this one calibrated. I had a guy come by, paid him like a couple $100, broke out all the equipment. Amazing picture, right? So that was cool. But yeah, it was at the time when I was really big into like I didn't care so much for sound, but like I really do like having a good picture because that's the thing that means the most to me. Because if I'm like standing over there in the kitchen and I'm like just watching something, like the sound is like as long as it's enough to travel to me, that's fine. But I want to be able to look at it and be like, man, that looks really awesome. Let's see, Bravio is 2200, so yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I think this one for some reason like what is oh okay a DQ ending, of course, why not? I want to say for some reason like 1900 comes to mind for this. Let's see. How often do I play my PS4? Like I haven't played my PS4 in a while. The last time I played it was for the first 3 to 4 months after Tony Hawk came out because I was playing the heck out of some Tony Hawk. By the way, if anybody cares to add me to their PlayStation PSN list, Tristan Stewart, all one word, TristanStewart. But let me know if you do because I don't check it very often, so I'll have to like actually go in there and like approve you or whatever, acknowledge it or something. So it looks like we might be getting a Bailey and Becky thing. I mean, not Bailey, Sasha and Becky thing. But it's probably going to be a triple threat before that actually happens. Because I would imagine they're not going to repeat WrestleMania. But I mean, I don't know. One of these. I don't like triple threats at WrestleMania, right? I'm not a fan of it. I think it should be two people having a little spotlight match and just doing that, right? Because it's always just like a cop out to me. Let's see. Yeah, I don't do those raffles. It's cool for people who win, but the other people who didn't just wait. Yeah, I mean, it is a gamble. It's like, and my only thing, again, if somebody did like $200 worth of slots for a $200 item, I would have no complaints. But when I see people like saying, "Oh yeah, it's like unlimited slots," and it's like $30 a piece, it's like, and then they have a wheel with like 25 names on it. It's like this is ridiculous. Bought myself a Toshiba 65-inch in 2018 for 600 pounds. The last time I used pounds, that would have been about $900, maybe $950. So, okay, I think that's yeah, okay. I think that seems about right. I haven't my England time was 2014, 2013 around then. Let's see. If you like clear picture, you need to check out OLED. Yeah, and see that's the thing. Like I know that there's a lot better options than just your standard LCDs, and there's a lot of stuff to look into. And if it was my main TV, like anything, I'm guessing some of you guys are the same way, where you will do a lot of research before you spend, even sometimes on like cheaper things, like I'll read a bunch of reviews on like various like Garmin things before I buy something, and like so especially with the TV, it's like I'm gonna get all the information that I need. Let's see your mother's maiden name. My mom's is too. Is I think it's a Scottish name, like if by origin or something like that, right? I feel like that's what it said when I looked it up once, or maybe I saw that when I was like actually in Scotland. But it's also where like the Royal Stuart thing, like the tartan, like that plaid, also the name is attached to that as well. Which I wanted those Air Max Pluses years ago. I bought my mom a pair. Could never find my size though. So at least they're in the family. I don't get on much, but I'd be more than happy to play when I do. In the process of getting my real estate license, I've been busy with work. Oh, okay, that's nice, man. I think my brother was going for that for like a while, and you know, he's kind of one of those like gets into something for a little while and then something else distracts him. So I don't think he ever like fully went through it, but he at least had intentions to. That could be cool. It'd be good to have like, it could be good to have that knowledge or whatever, especially when you know you're looking to move or something. Because like me, I don't really have any knowledge in that area. You know, sooner or later I should probably look into moving just to like get a bigger apartment or whatever, or maybe to just like start having fewer shoes. Because honestly, like if I didn't have any shoes, this apartment would probably feel huge. I don't know, but I do have a lot of them, so that just kind of like takes a foot off of like each wall. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Yeah, see, because I used to be really big. Well, I wasn't like a huge contributor, but there was it High Def Digest or something like that. I used to be on there on those forums all the time because it was back in 2008, 2009 when I was looking 2000, yeah, end of '08, beginning of '09 when I was looking for this TV. That was the whole thing, you know, like forums were still really big. I don't know if they're as big anymore. So between like the reviews that, you know, like written articles that people would write, but then you go and you read like the actual forums to get like actual people's perspective of like how they were holding up and things and finding the deals and stuff. And so that's how I came to get this one. It also had like a very primitive version of like YouTube built in, which was kind of appealing. Though in some ways, I do wish I had just bought like the THX one. But I want to say I feel like there was a reason I didn't. It might have been like it might have had to do with like the price difference and not necessarily being worth it, but you know, just knowing that I could have had like a THX thing at the time would have been, you know, slight bragging rights. Let's see. My closet is extremely small because I mean I will say like because I don't like to complain about stuff like that, or at least I don't like to come off like I'm complaining because it's a thing that I'm doing, right? And it's nice that I'm even able to buy any random crap, right? Because I have friends that they aren't in that position, right? They have things they would like to have, and sometimes they're able to get them, right? So keeping all that stuff in mind, I just don't look at it that way. And then on the other side of it, being that like I'm a 9.5, sometimes 9 sized foot dude or whatever, the boxes aren't as big as somebody who like homegrown. He's 10, 10 to 10.5, if I recall correctly, depending on the shoe or whatever. So his boxes are going to be a little bit bigger. And then I have like people like friends like McFly or whatever. They are, what is he, like size 14? Because I've had to order some shoes for him, like putting in on raffles. I think he's like a 14. If you have like 10 size 14 shoe boxes, that's like, that's it. You're done. Like, there's no more room for anything. Let's see. I have to ship off those University Blue don't clothes. Got from Nike like a month ago. Sold them on GoFo. That's pretty good. Yeah. I'll just add you on PS4. I have Borderlands 3 and so the Tony Hawk that has a multiplayer on it because I was never sure. Is this his intro? I can't tell if Finn Balor. No, okay. I wasn't sure if this match actually started or not because sometimes they show all these like videos and stuff, but man, like just seeing this reminds me of how cool like the Demon Finn Balor thing actually is. I got to see it live once. It was NXT Takeover in Dallas, right? Yeah. So that would have been 2016. I had like the perfect view because it was like there's this the lower seating, then there was like the balcony, and I was like the front row of the balcony, like dead center of the ring. Man, there wasn't like a better seat. Wait, apparently Finn's been wearing this demon paint like on SmackDown. See, that's what takes away from it. It makes it less special if he's doing it all the time. It still looks cool though. And the one time I almost went to did like the cosplay thing for Comic-Con, because I go to the San Diego one from time to time. I was going to do the Finn Balor thing, like the whole painted up thing, because I wasn't thrilled about the whole thing of like walking around mostly naked, but it would have looked really cool. Let's see. Yeah, especially in this area, not everyone is as fortunate. I always try to keep perspective. I'm a 10-5, so I guess you could say that's okay. Yeah, see, so and that's the thing, right? You gotta remember like the relativity or whatever to where everybody else is and like what you're complaining about, right? Because I know in like my little daily rants, I'll go off on my little tangents and say things. A lot of it is like jokes. Oftentimes there is some like underlying truth to it or whatever. It says size 14 or boats. Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine. I held up one once, like it was like a size, was it a 14 or 15? It was like, but it was like a Jordan 6, which is already like a semi-bulky-ish looking shoe if you catch from the right angles. And which was actually like one of my favorite videos that I've ever done, because it was like a live, but it was pre-recorded, just because like the banter and stuff. But that was freaking ridiculous, man. I was like holding it up, and it was just, I think it's huge. I'm gonna see if I can get on like I don't know. I used to be able to like add people on like through PSN on like the mobile thing, but I don't remember if that was because I had like an actual app installed or if it's just part of just what you can do. Let's see, I don't see anything about like my friends and stuff on here, do I? So yeah, it must have just been like through the actual app or something. But I'll have to fire up this PS4 later and make that happen. Let's see, where did I leave off? 10-5. Is this it? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of dunks. They're okay. I remember when they used to sell them for 2 for $100. Now they're reselling. Yeah, it's a pretty ridiculous thing, and like I don't really try for stupid commercials in the middle of like the action, but I don't really try for most of them because most of them don't look good, right? All the dunks that are like themed have been largely terrible. Like when I say themed, I mean like the ice cream Ben and Jerry's things and stuff like that, the turdunkins. It's always just so much crap going on, and I'm just like, this is dumb. And the normal ones that come out are usually just color combinations that I'm not into. For me, it might be fine. It's like, okay, I can see like baby blue and white. That's a fine combination. Someone's gonna like argue that. It's not something I need, but I get it, right? But then past that, I also just kind of feel like I wouldn't even like them. Like knowing what I wear, the predominant part of my collection, it's just not that. It's a lot of Air Maxes and Ultra Boosts, right? I have some Jordans, like you may have seen them like last year or something. But wait, when was it? No, April or May? May. The last time I did themed weeks for my shoes was May, and I had like a Jordan week, so I wore all like Jordan ones. So I was just like, I can't do this. And he says Tony Hawk does have multiplayer, which is fantastic. So yeah, we'll definitely have to do that. Helps all the other money I spend on. It helps offset all the money. Yeah, and me like I'm gonna be taking a back seat to buying as many shoes because I got to buy like concert tickets now that stuff is open again. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Yeah, I completely catch on to your jokes. I can see where some people might not be able to tell that though. Oh yeah, I can definitely tell sometimes, like based on like people's reactions to things or whatever, how they how they take stuff, and it happens, I just keep it moving. Hey, E-Money, what's going on, man? Appreciate you stopping. I was trying to put the link in the chat earlier so people could like jump in. If you would still like to, E-Money, if you want to jump, because it's like the main event now, just let me know and I'll just send it to you on Legram. Let's see. Let's see. You said you held Shaq's shoe one time and felt like I could crawl inside of it. I could see that, because what is his size? Like 20 something, right? So what's going on to E-Money? Man, I don't want to really. Yeah, I'm so close to the end, so I'm just looking forward to that. But I am looking forward to seeing Finn Balor as the Demon, because it's been a long time, like in actual matchup, And he's got some really awesome music. Man, like the first time I saw him, I was like right next to the entrance when he came out, and I didn't know who he was. I was just like, I don't know who this dude is, but this guy's got a good thing going. Because it was the first NXT show outside of Florida. It was WrestleMania weekend for 2015. But yeah, he's got like the presentation, and he can really deliver in the ring too. Yeah, definitely a top tier competitor. The Don't Close just have such piss poor quality. I would resell them or trade them for another shoe every day of the week. They're just so hyped up at them. Oh yeah. Yeah, totally. Oh, he said he's multitasking. Hey, not a big deal. Size 23. Jesus Christ. Man, like this Finn Balor get up he has going on right now. It's got like all the spikes. It's almost like I'd compare it to like the Casualties, if you're familiar with that band. I don't know who out there listens to the Casualties, but like the whole mohawk with like spikes thing, it looks freaking awesome though. It looks painful. Like if he ran into somebody, like he would just destroy everything in their body. But man, does it look cool. So yeah, he's sometimes I watch people like this, like him or Nakamura with like their entrances, and it's like this, it's a whole package, It's not just like, oh, I got some cool music and I'm just gonna strut my way down. No, he's got this whole thing happening. And look at Roman Reigns being jealous because his entrance is just him walking to the ring. Let's see. To call this PPV Extreme Rules is sad. It hasn't even been close from what I've. No, there was a chair shot at some point, I think, but it's just not it. I don't know what they're doing, man. Has the Demon lost before? The Demon has lost. I want to say he lost to Samoa Joe. Yes, he lost to Samoa Joe. I think the match that I saw might be the one time he lost. I honestly don't remember. But either way, he has lost once, and that was to Samoa Joe. And then he says, I think Joe was the only one to beat him. Yeah, because somebody made the joke the other day. They're like, well, maybe he'll lose to the other Samoa Joe, which is because I guess Roman Reigns' real name is Joe, and he's of Samoa descent, which is yeah. So, but the real Samoa Joe. Although I mean, I don't remember when that match was, but I'm sure it was amazing. And Samoa Joe's another one of those guys that came from NXT and then just nothing happened. Like nothing. And it was just sad. Like he even had a big feud with AJ and that didn't go anywhere. Man, he's got his name tattooed on his back. Finn Balor does. Man, that's gotta mess with you though, like staring across like at this dude with all this like crazy face paint stuff going on. It's not my favorite paint job I've ever seen of his, right? But it is pretty good. There was one that had like a green tongue and stuff. That one was pretty good. I saw one of him basically like painted up like Venom. I think it was like with Venom when he was teaming up with Tonga Loa back in New Japan. And that looks pretty awesome. Because like Tonga Loa also had like that face paint thing going on, and he had like the beard, so like it kind of blends all in together. But yeah, let's see, what is it? So if this is a goes to 11 show, this is gonna be a long match. Because it's only 10:30. But I mean, I don't know what the plan is here. Because I just wouldn't imagine that this match would go that long. Because that just doesn't make any sense to me. But something's got to happen. But all in all, again, it is still nice to see the old demon making his grand return. Let's see what's going on here. So, E-Money, how's everything going over in Hawaii today? I was over on his channel. Well, not his exact channel, but he has the Who Has the Heat battle thing that was on Saturday. So I was over there for that. Had a good time, as is often the case with tournament type things and whatever. There's always a little bit of controversy to those battles, right? Largely coming down to like chat voting and stuff, right? It is what it is. Sometimes there's like the other controversy where it's like this shoe shouldn't have counted and this person did this, like they switched this or that. It's like none of that was the case last night, which was awesome. So I guess this is an Extreme Rules. What is that? This got like 4 kendo sticks wrapped up together. So that's I wonder how much more that actually hurts. Cause like I have my doubts. But yeah, so hung out over there last night for the battle he did, sneaker battle thing. It's been a little while since I've done one of those, so it's probably about time to bring that back, I was supposed to do one in August, but then timing wasn't on my side. So maybe, and this month is pretty much over, so maybe next month I'll have to get some people together and do that. See what happens. They are entertaining though, It says it's humid. It's humid. It's been raining on and off. And thanks for, yeah, man. It's always fun to like go and hang out on another channel where I don't have to like do anything, like because I know like when I invite people over for mine, like all they need to do is vote. I don't need any questions. I don't need any of that stuff. It's like so people seem to like that. But yeah, man, let me know next time you need somebody to come hang out. I mean, I know you want to probably spread the wealth and not keep the same people coming in all the time. And maybe like if you have like more like the one-on-ones, then you can get more people in there. But when you have a tag team, that's giving up 4 slots already. You have 3 or 4 slots already just for your normal cast of characters, right? So that really only leaves 2 other slots. So I get it. Let's see. And then I got a hello from Melody Wong. What is going on, Melody Wong? Welcome. And Gravy says not to switch topics. Oh, dude, it's alive, man. There's no real thing. We just talk about stuff until like the night is over. So the biopic on Chris Benoit was pretty crazy. Yeah. That was the 2-parter. That was the first episode of, was it season 2? I think it was season 2 of Dark Side of the Ring. That was the first episode. And like I knew a lot of that story, but there were certain details that they probably just didn't really bring out because some stuff is just kind of kept to themselves, right? Like personal things or whatever. But that one was ridiculous. Like I still can't believe that happened. Like I remember when it did, kind of, because I think I was in, what was that? I was in Arizona for a work thing, and a friend of mine was like, "Man, did you hear what happened with Chris Benoit?" And like, just like, my first thought was like, he must have like passed away or something, you know? And then, they did the whole thing and everybody was all sad. And then the details came out and it's like, okay, we're not sad anymore. We're just going to distance ourselves from this. This is crazy, man. Let's see. What do I think of Brian? I haven't seen it yet. I'm a little behind, but I do plan to watch it. That was a very stiff match, says E Money. I think the next one will be an Iron Man. Yeah, all I heard was that it went to the time limit. Because what was I doing? Okay, so here's what happened. Wednesday night, I was at an Offspring show, right? Like the Offspring, pretty fly for a white guy, feelings, you know, the Offspring. And so then Thursday, what did I do Thursday? I don't know, but I didn't watch it. And then Friday, I went to see Earth, Wind, and Fire. And after that, I went to my friend's house to hang out over there for a little bit. Then Saturday, I spent a nice chunk of the day editing a video for tomorrow and then did the thing with eMoney. And then today I recorded and edited a couple other videos. So I just haven't really had the time. Enough. I've had time, but I've just used it to do other stuff. But I do need to watch that and see. He's saying like, you guys are going to make me get back into wrestling. It's pretty cool to watch. You know what I'm saying? Like it gives in times like this, it's something to talk about. I wish the link thing was working so more people could like jump in, share their thoughts without having to type them. But it happens. It'll be Danielson versus Omega for the title at Full Gear, and like that's kind of a thing that I see coming. It's one of those things where Brian Danielson, right? He totally deserves to be like jumping into the main event. It's just like what does he do from there? Because he didn't need to build up, because why? But it makes you wonder, like, if he makes it, if he wins, which I have my, I don't know, like, I could see him winning. But if he does, like, what happens from there, all that stuff. So Roman Reigns is wrestling with one of those face mask things on now. But I know he was like a cancer patient, so maybe he's just like more susceptible to like stuff. I expect to see Lana soon. Yeah, I feel like if all those other contracts hadn't ended when they ended, she probably would have been at Full Gear. But I mean, they just, not Full Gear, All Out. They got a stacked roster like in that month with Adam Cole, CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, like Ruby Riott. Malachi Black had just shown up like a couple weeks earlier. Man, it's crazy. I love Offspring. Haven't heard that name in years. You like cake? Like I almost won a plum tree at my first cake show. I should, man, like I still partially regret that because like something told. Okay, let me back up a little bit. I was at a cake show in Columbia, South Carolina, and they bring out a tree and they're like, "Hey, guess what type of tree this is, and you can win it." I was in the front row, and for some reason, something said plum. So I was thinking, like, I want to say plum, but I was like, I'm just going to stay quiet. Had I said it, I could have won the tree. Then I could have taken it back, planted it in my mom's backyard, and had some plums. But I said nothing, and then somebody else won it. Though I also would have had a difficult time getting that thing back. Would have had to put it in the sunroof, put it in through the sunroof, and drive like 20 miles all the way back down to Somerville. And then I saw them later, and they did the same thing, and I was just like, I'm not even going to bother this time because I know how it went. But yeah, so I do like cake. I think the second time I saw them was it at the Norva? It might have been at the Norva. I honestly can't remember. Or was it? I don't know. But yeah, they've got a lot of good stuff. Like, I don't know that they put out an album since Showroom of Compassion or whatever, and that was like 2012. Let's see. I agree, Robert. Gotta keep him. See, he knows. Yeah, it was a really good show. It was weird though, because like obviously like, the band is like significantly older than they were in 99, 98, whenever. So now like you're seeing this old man, well not old man, but older man talking about like how he doesn't want to be controlled by people and how he wants to just live his life. And it's like you're pretty well in control of your own life now, but it's still cool to see. Eric V, I'm fairly new to wrestling, but would watching the docuseries Dark Side of the Ring, that I would say watching like that Dark Side of the Ring stuff, it won't catch you up, but it will probably make you interested in watching more wrestling, because the things that they're talking about are like older stories in a lot of cases, but it will probably like rekindle an interest. That's how I feel. Let's see. And also, welcome. Thanks for stopping in. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn contracts are coming up soon. Yeah, I think January for like Owens and something. So I could see him leaving. But yeah, so far this match though, real quick, just to kind of talk about what we are here for. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not paying it enough attention, or it could be that I also don't like Roman Reigns. But it's not. I might have to watch it again because I don't want to say that it's not good, but I don't know if it is. Had some cake plums. He says, well, yeah, because that's the thing. Like those stories, though, the one thing I will say to add on to like the Dark Side of the Ring, no matter what the episode is, no matter how little you know about that subject or how little you think you care, watch the episode anyway, because every episode I've seen has been solid. Like there were ones I watched, I'm like, I don't even know what this is about, and I watched it and I'm like, man, because I was watching with a friend of mine, like, because he lives up in or down in South Carolina or whatever. So we just kind of like, be chatting or whatever and say, okay, like just start the show, like start the hit play at like 6:30 on the dot or something. So we both just sitting there watching it. So that way we're both kind of synced up. We're just chatting back and forth, like, man, like, isn't it crazy how like New Jack isn't in jail, And we'll just talk about stuff like that. So all the episodes though, because like he knew less than I did, right? Because he's just a more casual fan, and we were just like floored by some of the stuff that it talks about. So yeah, definitely watch that though, and I suggest that to anybody, even if you're not a wrestling fan. If you just want to hear like some crazy stories that you might not believe are real, yeah, Dark Side of the Ring is the way to go. Oh, thank God! Like, I thought he was about to like get pinned there, and even though I know it's gonna happen sooner or later, I don't want to see it happen. A clown wears less makeup than Mandy Rose, dude. Like, I have no idea what some of these women look like if they're not on TV, because I feel like they'd be completely different, and she'd weigh like 10 pounds less. Yeah, most likely was the Norva, right? Because I feel like it was, because if it wasn't the Norva, it was a long time ago in El Paso, but I just don't think it was. But yeah, I've seen a lot of shows over a lot of years, so it's just kind of hard to keep all of them straight. Especially when you see like some people in like multiple places. Like I've seen Less Than Jake all across the country, pretty much, and in a case or two like on other continents. Yeah, he's laughing at that. Yeah, it's sad, but hey, man, she's all about it. Is this? Oh yeah, they do a really good. Yeah, those Dark Side of the Ring things, man. I want to. I feel like I caught up on, because they're on season 3 right now. And I want to say season 3 is being broken up into like halves. Like they're airing the first half now, then they're gonna air the second half later. But probably like put the episodes out there, let it generate some buzz, let people rewatch them. So then when season 3's second phase comes around, more people are like into it. But man, those are crazy. I'm trying to think of what all the other ones were, because I know there was like the Dino Bravo one. That one was something like the one with Jimmy Snuka about how he killed that woman. That one is something else. So if you haven't seen that one, like definitely watch that one. Let's see. Wait. Okay, like Superman Roman Reigns is overpowered. Oh yeah, he definitely is, you know. They just kind of like need to go in there and adjust his stats a little bit, you know, in the next patch or something. I think that's what they do in like Unreal and Warcraft and stuff, you know. Because as it stands right now, he is just, it's unnecessary, you know. And it's crazy, like they shoved him in everybody's faces since like 2014, I think. And like now that people are finally not booing him because they're annoyed with him. Now I feel like they're just going to, okay, this is just stupid to me. Like now, like the red lights have come on, and like now Finn Balor's like getting pumped up. I don't, that maybe I'll have a different opinion if I were to watch that later, but it's just a little silly to me, you know, because he's all down and out. Then like the red light comes on, and like now he's getting into demon mode. It's a shame they never really cashed in on like a demon versus fiend thing. That could have been pretty all right. So this match is pretty good. Okay, yeah, I might have to rewatch it later because it seems like there's a lot more. Maybe they chose not to do anything else extreme through the match so that way they could do this because maybe they wanted to save it all for the end. But at the same time, like you can be extreme through a pay-per-view if you do it right. You know what I'm saying? Like without it being repetitive and redundant. I did he wait, so I don't know if like the rope broke for real or if it just like or if that was like a planned thing. Because I feel like it what? This was yeah. So that just that ending alone is gonna make me say that this wasn't a good match. I mean I might be over exaggerating, right? But the ending because that's usually what you remember a lot of, you know, like the ending. And that was not ideal. Getting back on track. Or actually it was a kid. I don't even think he was 18. Wait. Oh yeah, the New Jack thing. I had actually skipped over that. Yeah, he lied about I think he was a minor and he also lied about having been trained properly. So, I heard Owen Hart will be a playable character in the AEW game. I mean, it's still early enough that like I would imagine that at this point like all they'd have to do is just maybe because they probably have all the moves that he did, you know, like the sit out pile driver and you know the normal high flying type things, right? So if anything, even if the game is almost done, like all they'd have to do is just patch him in if necessary, like they do with any other created character. They say, wait till you see this finish. Yeah, man, that finish. That's all elite wrestling. Looks like a way to protect the demon. Yeah. Yeah, that was something that I'm not on board with. It's like, oh, he fell and then he got up and got speared and that was it. He was like in demon mode though, you know? So as soon as the lights went back on, he went into like weak boy mode or whatever. All right, they got 9 minutes left. Something has to happen. Yeah, I mean, I did answer it, but you might have been, maybe you missed that. Yeah, because when the elite guys were getting together, that was kind of their word that they were throwing around all the time, because it was a subset of the Bullet Club. It was like the elite, you know, kind of like how within the NWO you had the Wolf Pack, or something like that, right? But then that kind of became its own thing later. So what is tomorrow kicking off Raw? We got Bobby Lashley and Big E. I don't know about that. Let's see. Yeah, I saw that. They're gonna have the Owen is gonna be like the name of like what's that word? The cup, like the tournament cup, you know. So that's gonna be what they call what you win. And I think Heyman is holding that title upside down. Yeah, he is. For whatever reason. He probably doesn't know. So unless he's signaling that the Miz is going to be the next champion, he needs to turn that belt around. So is that it? Are we done here? I'm just kind of waiting for it to fade out. They got a logo on the screen. There it is. So, all right. Well, they gave the fans exactly what they expected to give to receive, even though they probably weren't thrilled about it. But yeah, so that's cool though. Let's see. Real quick though, for those of you that are still with me, like I was saying, I did get a box of shoes in earlier today. So I'm gonna open that up real quick so I can give these a good look over. And I don't know when I'll do the actual review because, I might wait until, because I'm coming up on doing my quarterly pickup thing or whatever. When I, do the whole recap of all the shoes I bought over the last 3 months. So I might do this review that same day, maybe like take a day off of work or something. I don't know. Got some time to kill. So these, there's a lot of stuff going on with this box for some reason. So you kind of make me wonder if this is what okay, yeah. Yeah, because they had it all wrapped up in this thing here, which is weird. And it's torn, so that's not great. Kind of torn on the side of there. You can kind of see that. But that's the side of the box you kind of need to see anyways, right? One of those Lego releases. Pull this back just a little bit. So it's kind of a cool box, I like that. Kind of reminds me of that, what was that thing I got the other day or the other month? The ZX8000 Aqua Ultra Boost, right? Kind of reminds me of that. So all it is, it's just your standard Ultra Boost, right? But it is black and yellow because as an Iowa guy, I'm a huge fan of the whole black and yellow thing. These actually came out on Friday, which was the same day that they also did a Pollen 1 restock that I completely missed. So that sucks. That's one of the few shoes that I actually really wanted. But yeah, so pretty much just your standard. Is this going to focus or what? Standard like Ultra Boost DNA, black and yellow, Lego. It says Lego on the upper there, right? So you got that whole thing going on. It's kind of focusing on whatever it wants to because that's how webcams work. But it's kind of nice though. It's a little weird in some ways because it has all this like weird plastic on the side that makes it almost feel like a utility version of something. And then this is also very plasticky, but that's kind of how that goes. Then you've got some suede down here around the toe box, which is an odd choice to me. But the thing is, I was saying like a while ago that I don't have any black and yellow Ultra Boosts at all. The closest thing being those 5th anniversary ones that I wore the 16th. I just haven't remember that date. But yeah, so I saw these, they popped up and confirmed, and it was like, hey, you got early access because that's how they do things. The Miz was on the Real World before he became a famous wrestler. Oh, that's why that wasn't coming out. So then looking at the other shoe, make sure everything looks like it's supposed to. So yeah, I'm cool with these though. But like the thing was, I made the order and then I instantly thought like, I need to cancel this order because I don't think these things are going to show up before the end of the month. And I don't want to have shoes that I bought in September arriving in October because I would like to get all my stuff done within the month. But like I said, I bought these on Friday and they showed up today. So that was pretty cool. I also like this yellowed out boost, you know, you don't see colored boosts very often. So all in all, pretty cool. I like them. Let's see. But yes, he says that was a terrible ending. I agree with that. Quick question before we all go. Have you been having delays from FedEx lately? They've been delaying my packages by at least 2 to 3 days. I have not had any issues. I'm trying to think, what was the last FedEx package that I got? Let me see, because though sometimes with FedEx, just so they can, sometimes I'll have them deliver to a local Walgreens or something, just so they can not complain about like, oh well, yeah, we couldn't get into your apartment complex or what. I'll just have them go there. So sometimes that helps with getting stuff on time. But yeah, my NECA stuff came from there. My mom's sunflower Asics came from there. The Soot Yeezy slide actually got here early. What the press? Yeah. So I've been good. I've been good with my FedEx purchasings. Get this one more lined up. But yeah, so these I'll probably be knocking this review out no later than Thursday. Would be the plan. But I just got through on some trail Sean Wallerspoon something or other this weekend. So hopefully they ship these like they did those. I did get a little shipping notification, but I haven't looked into seeing what it was as far as FedEx or whatever. Let's see. First world problems, I know, but still annoying when you pay $16 for. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't pay. I did almost complain about Nike not sending me something in 2 days like I paid for. Their overnight or their 2 days was only $5, but I paid it and I never got a tracking number. But like they had actually sent the shoe, they just never gave me a tracking number for it. So it showed up when it was supposed to. So I couldn't really complain about that, you know. But I was not thrilled about, they sent me the tracking number like the day after the shoes arrived. It's ridiculous. I saw Lego. Oh, I thought that said Lego boots. Yeah, the Lego boots. I do like those. I saw these like it was like a month or two ago, and then when I saw the other colors pop up on the Adidas stores, like I thought, okay, so maybe this color is like a European release because sometimes they do that where like we'll get a couple colors, kind of like with Yeezys. Like we'll get a couple colors, they'll get a couple colors, whatever. But this one's pretty nice. I do like the green one also, but looking at this, I'm not sure how I feel about on the green one. The suede here is green, right? So it's kind of like a lot of green, but I think this is like the right amount of color blocking for like the black and the whatever other color. Let's see. If I would have known you wanted the pollen ones, I would have put in for you. Yeah, I mean it happens, right? Like it's one of those things. Had I known that they were even going to bring those back, sure, that would have been fantastic. But I found out like hours later that they brought them back. So the plan is to hopefully get through on something else at some point, and then maybe be able to just kind of trade for them. Because I'm not paying resale on them, you know. Like I know they're only going for like slightly over, but again, personal thing, right? The LeBron 18 low Stewie Griffin. I saw that at House of Hoops, so Foot Locker the other day. Yeah, I didn't get an up close look because like I could have. It was probably like as far as like those Air Maxes over there or something. But I was like, oh, they have those Stewie things. But I'm not a LeBron shoe guy, so that's kind of how that went. Actually, these are actually more similar to those ZX 8000s now. Like the more I look at them, but yeah, I'm liking these. I don't know when they'll come out. As far as like, oh, okay, you know what? So it's probably not going to show up. You'll probably have to wait. Like, no, it's good. So there's the insole is actually like Lego-ish, right? So it's got like the raised things or whatever. I'm kind of wondering how that's gonna feel because I I have my doubts that I'm gonna like it, but that is definitely unexpected. I've never seen that before. So we'll see. We'll see how that stands up. And a little bit of yellow down there on the bottom for that torsion system. Let's see. Yeah, I like the Stewie Griffin colorway, but did not like the materials on those 18 lows. Got early access to the Wile E. Coyote LeBron 18 lows, and ended up returning them. I don't get early access on anything unless it's something that everybody gets early access to. Kind of like if you saw my Air Max 2021 video, like, oh yeah, here's early access. It's like because you have a Nike account. It's like, isn't that everybody that has shopped with you since like the dawn of time? But I think I was probably like the only person that actually bought them. Though I do like those 2021s. They're pretty solid. But let me see if I can get an idea for when those I don't even remember what those things were called. Something philosophical. What? But yeah, so let's see, where was that? Because I do want to see like when I might be able to expect those. I have the Pride boosts that look like those. I'm not gay, but I love that color. Yeah, and that's the thing, because like, those I've seen some various Pride shoes that look nice. You know, it's like in some ways I do feel like I don't want to wear them because I don't want to put out like the wrong message. But like, you know, not if there's anything wrong with that or whatever. You know, definitely not saying that. But it's just like I almost feel like they're not for me because of that. I mean, I could be wrong though. Well, let's see. I guess they're not going to show me there. Man, I don't know why. Go to the Adidas site to look and see like the orders. Let's see, team retail. Oh yeah, all the way, man. Like that is the way to go because it's like stuff is expensive already, right? And that's part of the reason I was like, maybe I won't buy these yet because 180 is a lot of money, and I figured like they probably won't sell out. So I'll probably be able to like maybe I'll be able to get them for a discount later. But then I was too late to cancel the order, and it actually worked out well since they got here so quickly. I'm not even gonna bother with it, you know. Not, I mean, because I could still return them or whatever. I think I've done that before, but I was like, nah, these are cool. Looking over at them and stuff, I'm cool with these. I like the black and the yellow on here, like I was saying. Track this package. Oh, that's coming from. Well, this looks like these other ones are estimated to get here. What? That can't be right. Actually, maybe it is. I don't know. So it looks like that the ones that I got from Saturday are like on their way already. Like they've already been moving through things on the way from New Jersey. So, and given that New Jersey is relatively close, like I might have those earlier than expected. And if that's the case, I'll be able to knock out my third quarter video like earlier than, probably even earlier than I was planning on doing it. So hopefully that is the case. But for now, though, it is getting a little late, and I do have to wake up pretty early. So I'm gonna get on out of here for now. But definitely appreciate you guys stopping in and hanging out with me while I watched a bad wrestling pay-per-view. Because like I was telling E-Money Shoes the other day, when I do these, it kind of helps get through the pay-per-view because the pay-per-views are not super reliable for like entertainment reasons. So I can sit here and I talk to people. That distracts me from that. Because if I was just sitting here watching this from end to end, I'd be sad, you know? But luckily you guys are here, so that helps. That helps a whole heck of a lot. So thank you from me to you. Also, from me to you. Have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I'll be back again. Actually, I think my next live thing will definitely be on Sunday because Sunday is the first of the month, right? It's the first Sunday of the month, so I'll be doing like the recap thing of like the shoes that came out in September. So, good little time to hang out for about like an hour and a half, something. But again, seriously though, thanks to everybody that popped in. Hopefully we'll all cross paths later in some comments or something like that. But for now, I'm gonna get on out of here. So later, people.